Oh, there we go. Nice. All right, what do you guys think? Which way do we want our beach to go?
Maybe the long ways like this.
Thinking this way?
Are you gonna wait for other guys to come?
I mean, I said 9, figuring by 9:30 everybody would be here, you know? Yeah? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Parker's probably got to take care of a couple of things.
Yeah, the other guy wants to see the beach the most, so
I know, that's why I'm like...
I'm gonna head over to the lake, see what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
By the time I come back, it'll be probably...
Yeah, I can run you through these steps pretty quick. Like, it's
Sending it, grinding it.
Okay.
Well, I'll be right back.
So, whenever we're doing a beach, you're familiar with a quartz coat, right? Like a beach broad coat. Some call it a beach coat, some call it just quartz broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you're putting concrete down, like overlay, right? Everything in here, every bit of it that has carved concrete, it has this under it.
Okay.
So that's a quartz coat. So you throw down your resin. You usually want to use something that doesn't flow too much. A little bit thicker is better. You can use fast cures if you're able to work quickly. So in this case, like, you would literally mask off everything, right? And then you put that resin down. This is resin that's tinted black, and then the quartz that's on top of it is also black. You can order quartz in just about any color, which is really damn cool. Like, once I figured that out, I was like, oh shit. Like, you can literally make like sand art, you know? Have you ever seen those canvases where it's sticky and it has like a masking on it? And you'll see guys take razor blades and they'll like cut the masking and peel it away, and it's sticky, and they'll take different colored sand and pour it on that area. You know, shake it off and keep going, and you can get shit that looks like photorealistic, but like with a pop art filter. You know, like really, like it's defined differences for sure, but like it looks great. So you could technically go absolutely nuts with this stuff and build it up the right way and have like so much control over this quartz. Like, and the thing is, they use a quartz system in like a factory or like a warehouse. Like, it's a really, really durable system. So being able to like have that look, like a beautiful look to it, and know that you have that kind of durability, it's absolutely insane. Corey says all the time, I'm sure Judy can attest to it as well, this section right over here beside the front door, where you have that copper or orange kind of color and black, and then that quartz over it, everybody that comes through here, most people are like, what is this? This is like one of their favorite things, because so often people are looking for a coating for, you know, somewhere that you have to worry about slipping, or around a pool or something like that. Like, you could absolutely take a polyaspartic that's UV stable. You would technically want to do your beach coat in MVB. Anytime you're biting to concrete, use epoxy and then build the system on top of that. But all of these colors here, you could do this in a polyaspartic that is UV stable. You lay it down, you throw the clear quartz into it, and this quartz is not sealed on top of that. Like, there's no resin on top of this, right? This is just straight raw quartz. It's like you don't see that definition anywhere near as much, you know?
Right.
But whenever you do put another clear coat on top of that, then that clear quartz just kind of disappears. Like, you can still see it, of course, but it's allowing more of that light to go through, and so you see more definition and a more true representation of the colors. So you could take that clear quartz and literally do a metallic outside, like around a pool, and then clear quartz it and put a layer of poly on top, and that shit's going to last.
Oh, that's clear quartz.
Yeah. Yeah. Clear quartz, man. And it has no poly on top of it. That's like just raw open quartz.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How does that do, like, if, like, you know, it's like, you know, oil or whatever? Like, is it gonna, like...
I mean, you would want to seal, you'd want to put another layer of resin on top of this, and then if you know it's going to be an area where you got a lot of like oil and stuff, like one of the ballistic coatings, like I'm sure usually Squire 1 is best for environments where like you have to worry about oil and like, you know, fluids from cars and shit like that.
So you put the Squire on those too?
You could, yep. You could absolutely, like, you can do the original Squire thick enough to literally encapsulate flake. So if you have a flake system down, instead of, after you scrape, instead of doing like a poly top coat or something, you can literally just pull the original Squire over it and it'll lay in so thick, it'll glass it out. Like you'll see a little bit of texture to it, yeah, but like it'll mostly glass that shit out, which is absolutely nuts. And it's that quartz that allows it to happen that way. Like that liquid quartz content is so high that it's actually stronger up to a certain extent being thicker. Most of the other coatings, like the Black Label, the Squire 2.0, I'm pretty sure the Stealth as well, the thinner it is, you get the better performance out of it. And it has to do with the way that the chains are forming. So if you have, you know, you gotta think on a molecular level, right? So we have like, that's our surface. And if you have, you know, that much that's a thick coating, like you literally have your chains finding their buddies and creating their links, you're going this way and you're going this way. And the more that you have going this way is less bonds that can go that way. So whenever it's too thick on some of these micro coatings, you get really shitty performance out of it because it's just too thick. If it was thinner, all the chains are going to be running like linear and just biting on, which is really counterintuitive. Like I always say that ballistics is the science coating. like it's very much just like an anomaly as you look at it, and you know it's slip resistant even though it's glossy. Okay, it's even more slip resistant when it's wet. What? That already doesn't make sense.
That's great. It took me a while to like kind of buy into it too. You know, I was just getting their urethane and their epoxy at first. I was like,
I mean, like it does sound like snake oil stuff. Like the first time I saw ballistics, I was picking up an order at what's the place called? Vortec. Vortec, which has now become Runyon Canyon, I believe. Like they're focusing mostly on like surface prep. Like they have their own brand of like grinders and stuff like that. But I was going in, I was using MPC before MPC completely fell off and their quality control just fell to the fucking wayside, dude, so bad. And I'm picking this order up and I'm talking to the girl up front and there's just a regular metallic sample and like I'm sitting there looking at it and I can see the sheen difference and it's like she sees me doing this and she was like, oh, this is ballistics. And I'm like, what's ballistics? And she was like saying all of this stuff that it can do for a surface and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't believe this. And she put it down on the floor and she was like, you see that real shiny side? I was like, yeah. She was like, I'm gonna put my foot here and hold it, try to slip your foot. So I'm sitting there like trying, I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then she was like, watch this. She put water down on it and tried the same thing. I was like, oh shit, wow. Wow. Then she put a little bit of like soap in there too, like Dawn, right? And I barely was able to get a slide before it grabbed. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, and after that, it was a few weeks of like, I was sitting there trying to remember what the name was. And I just kept being like, is it ballistical? Is it tactical? Is it like I'm just going through all these like ballistic related things? And then finally, Derwin on a post finally shared that, you know, this top coat that he was like, essentially trying to like, trying to bring everybody in to like pay more attention. It was like a secret sauce. And I guess Corey finally got onto him like, bro, like you're supposed to be promoting this with me and like let it out. And he was like, oh, you know, we're using ballistics. And right then I was like, aha, there we go. I can look into this now. And then the more I looked at it, like the price, it was like, it's pretty high, you know, like it's not cheap, but the benefits that you're getting for it is absolutely worth it.
convenience as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Convenience as well.
So pretty quickly I was like, I need to get a little more footing before I worry about putting this on any of my projects, right? And just randomly in the Epoxy and Polishing Gods Facebook group, somebody was talking about one of the installs that Derwin had did outside, and then like they used the original Squire over it, and like
That's when you did those big blocks outside.
yeah, Future's place.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Future?
Yeah.
Like future?
Future. Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's dope.
Yeah. He's done. He has like these big like you can
Big
call them
slabs
slabs.
in the
Yeah.
yard,
It's
yeah.
like just these big rectangles.
They're just slabs in the
I mean,
yard.
like at first when I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? But then every time I see it now, I'm like, I get it. That's kind of cool. Like, it's an artsy backyard for sure. I mean, that's a studio too. So like, who knows? Like, you're probably like having parties out front and shit. Like,
What is this made of?
I mean, actually, I mean, do you guys want to get hands-on with doing the beach as well? Yeah, excellent. So for yours, right there, I mean, you technically don't have to do another layer if you don't want to.
I kind of like it actually.
Yeah.
I think what I'll do is literally just do cause what are they is something gonna go over there, or is there just being
I mean, this could be like,
it is just like a sample board, right? You know?
yeah.
So yeah, I don't worry about it. I'm more beach.
We do have a little bit. You got some rejection right there. You can see the debris. So let's do the, let's do the first couple of steps on the beach, and then once it's doing its curing thing,
Oh yeah.
then we can.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I just actually yours will be a good example to show how to like hand lay some veins in between, and just the benefits that you get from hand laying those veins in. Like,
Sounds good to me. Look, I was telling her, she was asking me like, what, you know what I mean, we were gonna, I'm like, look, everything from here is like just icing on the cake at this like point. Like I've already like, I have a whole page. I really looked at it like, because like, I know that when you learn things, notes are for, you can kind of reverberate them in your brain.
Yep.
You kind of, so I learned it twice. Like I went back and read it again.
yeah,
So much information.
it is. It's been quite the battle of just, and my poor wife, I'll just randomly take her attention away from like, she's just sitting there trying to zone out playing her little matching game on her phone, and I'm like, all right, and she's like, oh boy, and I'm like, does this sound like the proper approach? Like, where do I need to start this whole thing?
Well,
And
especially for you who just.
it's a rabbit hole up here. Yeah, like where is the most stable footing to step into it, you know? Because like I don't want people to be like, I can't get this because it's too much, because it is a whole different way of thinking about it for sure. But like also for the longest time I feel like I've been too in my head about that, because like Alex yesterday, whenever he was leaving, he was like, I've watched hundreds of videos on this stuff, and he was like, your approach and the way you're explaining it makes the most sense that I've had yet. So I'm like, okay.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
It's weird because like I spend so much time like my brain's definitely not normal, like by any means. Like it's a fucking mess. it's a cool mess, but it's my mess. And sometimes I'll say shit to people and they look at me like, what? And like I'll sit there and try to explain, and they're like, what? And they just don't get it. So sometimes whenever I'm going into an explanation, that it's literally just I've made the connections in my head, and more often than not, I'm aware enough of certain aspects of things to where I can just connect the dots and say, I'm pretty sure this is how this works. And a lot of people can't, again, they can't do that. Like they can't follow that like kind of abstract reasoning. One of the things I'm going to do by following classes that are going to be really focusing on the like practical art theory side of it, everybody's going to get a Thomas color wheel, because like it's the perfect reference. I mean, I even use one. So like ATOMUS, a Thomas, and it's this perfect little color wheel that actually twists, it rotates, and like it has windows. So like you essentially find the color that you want to know about, and then like because it's on the color wheel, it's going to reveal like this exact contrasting color, this exact complementary colors, If you do 2 steps of complementary colors, they're essentially creating a rectangle at that point, like on the color wheel, connecting 4 pieces. But like there's a formula behind it where it's like, you see it and go like, I don't think that's gonna look right together. Then you put it together and you're like, no, it looks fucking great. Like most NFL colors, a lot of it is contrasting colors and complementary colors. Like, yeah, I think you have this imagery that you're presenting as like a team. You know, it's got the logo, it's got the colors. Like those colors are like of utmost importance, and they literally sit there and like every one of those NFL colors are a different Pantone code. Like they're their own unique colors. Like you don't have like, you're not gonna see like the Kansas red used anywhere else. Right. Like it might be 2 shades up or 2 shades back. It is not the same. Right. Like there's like lawsuits and shit over Pantone codes. It's nuts. All right, so you want to do a clear coat? Do you want to do anything else to yours? No. Yeah, if you want to, like, if you feel like you're done for right now, you can absolutely just set it aside. Once we get a little bit further into this, like, we'll bring this one over and I'll show you some examples of hand-drawn. Yeah, anywhere. Anywhere's fine by me. But I am going to grab this plastic. Yeah, we're still working with a single shot, so it's a 2-to-1. Something else I definitely want to do. Since we're getting into the beach look, I'll throw in one more little bonus example. I'll show you the quick way to do like a nebulous galaxy kind of look.
Oh shit.
It's surprisingly easy, like it really is. The sports court, the pickleball, no, that is an acrylic system. So it's pretty similar to like when you feel a tennis court, how like it's got that little bit of spring to it. Right. That's a thick acrylic system. It's the same general material, but now they're thinner. I don't know if that's a pickleball thing or if it's just like, I mean, I couldn't see them changing up like a spec for a sports court like that. So it's probably unique to pickleball.
They're gonna be teaching us also, right?
Yeah, here, yeah. I mean, I want to mess with this because it's just acrylic, and there are so many things you can use to color acrylic, and pickleball is blowing up more and more and more, and my brain just loves stupid puns and shit, and I want to make a Pickle Rick ball court.
Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick.
What's that?
Rick and Morty. In that one episode where he changed himself to a pickle.
Designs and stuff on this
Yeah,
one too.
absolutely. You just literally just paint it. What's that guy's name?
Yeah, you can peel them out.
Sometimes. Actually, I wanted to show you.
Because I'm not finding any clean ones.
Oh, we got some right over here. We might have to send off for some more. Got this. And we have, all of these were used yesterday. I noticed we did have some bad mixes. Just about every one of these cups had like a decent bit in the bottom that when I pulled out, a little puck in the bottom. Yeah, I mean, that's still like full on wet.
Oh shit.
So I think I might need to.
Good lesson point,
Yeah, no, that's a failure waiting to happen right there.
Hey, that's scale? Like
No,
the
this
floor
one-
mix?
It had like some
That's
kind
a
of
decent-
dust or something in it.
That's a problem.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, whenever we have Alex back, and I'm not sure if Stefan's going to be joining us today or not. I definitely want to go back over just proper mixing, because like literally, I think there was 1 or 2 cups that pulled out clean. Like, and that's how you know you.
It makes it good.
Yeah, I mean, there was a. Which one is it? Might be this one. Like a lot down in the bottom. I was like, ooh, who mixed this?
What's pretty cool that
Hey,
they
hold on.
obviously don't tell you is from my experience, because I've had, you know, nice guys where I'm kind of like, hey, just put this together. I went back later, I'm like, why is there so much this left over this? And I feel like it's a little bit forgiving. At
It
least the
is.
single shot.
It's up to.
It's pretty forgiving.
It's like resin to resin, and if you really dig, you can find the information on it. Like, because anytime you're taking a product to market, like you have to test it to failure. So like there is documented like information on how far off your ratio can be before you run into failure. It's usually it's like 9%. Like it's which is like not that much when you really think about it. You know, you're mixing up a big batch of something, and if like you're pouring in your part B and you're off by 7%, say like something happens where you're mixing with one brand of a measuring cup and then you use another brand measuring cup and they're just slightly different from each other. That shit does happen.
Yeah, and it shit like this too. Like I learned this. Like say you mix, right, and you pour your A first.
Yep.
And then you pour that, and then you try to go and pour your B. The A is a lot more thick, so it's just gonna run back down. And it's gonna add a little bit up.
Yep.
So you go pour your B to that same measure, to like that one. It's
And
gonna
it's
be a
still
little
settling. And
bit,
yeah.
By the time you get to your shit, you're gonna have a little bit. You know what I mean? I've learned that. So I have one bucket like you guys have for the A.
And one for the B. Yeah.
And yo, when I say sometimes I'll mix, sometimes I have my, you know, sometimes I have a mixer to like, nobody is allowed to talk with the mixer.
Yeah.
Like,
No, the mixer, like
being dead,
he needs to feel like he's been ostracized.
Like,
He needs to sit in silence
See-
and have only his world happening.
there's some jobs too, who are in like, you know, restaurants, where like little kind of like pop up little like plastic things. You can sometimes it's in like a little plastic like 4x little 4 thing just in its own little world. I'm like, yo, look, leave him alone.
Actually, here, take this over.
What else did you say we were doing today? You were make.
We're gonna do a galaxy look.
That's sick.
It's not even so much the resin that makes that look, it's the preparation before the resin. Like getting your colors established with rattle cans, huge, huge, huge. Like you just have a black surface and then you just take Rust-Oleum or really any brand because it's not going directly in the epoxy. And that same technique with taking one of these and like just cutting or pulling that random shape, you just use it the same way. You hold it back that little bit and just kind of start misting. You make sure to use different sides, different angles, and then you just build up this like cloudy, ethereal kind of like color. And then you let that set, like let it dry. You pour your resin on top, and then you use very little mica over top of it. And it just gives this depth because like whenever we're seeing like these beautiful nebulous space type things, it's just, you see like, you know, oh, it's red, like where it's way far off in the back, and then there's more of this gas on top of itself. So it gets to like this hot, opaque pink that lets out into this color. So you have to pretty much build your colors thinking of what the back of the image is and work it up. All right.
Alright, so what are we getting ready to start on?
We're going to be doing a beach look.
Cool.
Yeah, we're doing the beach first because everybody loves doing beach pours, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't do them very well. Where is it? Oh, look at that. We totally did have 220 over here. Are you serious? Let's see. There we go. What are you pouring out resin for? What you setting up for?
I was gonna pour mine.
Oh, just get a clear coat on there? Yeah.
And you said it was 2 to 1, right?
Yeah, that's a 2 to 1. For a flood coat on yours. Oh, that's Connor. For a second, I thought it was
wondering who the hell
Stefan. I was like, wait a minute. For yours, go for. I'd say go like 8 of your part A, and then like 4 of your part B. So 8 ounces, 4 ounces. That's 12 ounces altogether. And we can elevate this and put a tape dam around it. And I'll show you how to like let it sit and wait for that point to pull it. And then whenever it runs over the side, it leaves a nice thick coat on top. You want your flood coat to be thick.
All right,
Corey was saying that there's a new primer, E1. Do you know about E1 yet?
No. He's lying. No, I don't know what
He said something about it yesterday, and I was like,
Did he say who makes it? He waited till
No.
I answer. I think he makes it.
now it makes me wonder if I'm wondering if it's Primera, if it's Fusion. Because I know for a minute there was a little rift between Bulletproof and Primera, but it seems like it kind of died back down.
I've had like 2 different guys recently using the bare primer.
Yeah.
And it's causing failures on like
Yeah.
epoxy, everything put over the top of
Yep.
it. Like,
You have to let the bare primer,
yeah,
you have to let it outgas for no less than 24 hours. It's got so much ammonia in it.
he said he gave it like, well, the last guy I talked to about it, he was like, I gave it 24 hours. The epoxy looks fine, but any top coat I put over it always fails.
Really?
He tried like ballistics, he tried T2, he tried like 3 different ones. He was like, it just fails. Damn. Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird one. I was like, I don't know.
That one doesn't
But
make
I mean, we
sense.
tested everything else and like had it probe at it, and realized the only thing it could be is the primer.
That's really wild.
Yeah, very weird.
I mean, yeah, I guess it could happen. I wonder if it's a pH problem. Because I've found more often than not when somebody has applied the original Squire, right? And like they know what they're doing and they follow their instructions for mixing, and then they have a issue after that. A lot of the times it has to do with the pH of the surface, because that Squire, the original Squire, is very sensitive to that pH level. So it makes me wonder if using that primer and then pouring it on top, if it didn't outgas, if it was still outgassing into the resin, and it actually like changed. I mean, yeah,
actually
that
makes
could
sense,
change
because
the
that would mean a lot
pH.
of the top coat's failing.
Yeah.
Because it's going through the epoxy.
Great, now it's gonna be, my brain's gonna be running this all day now. All right. I was gonna say, we don't really have to worry too much because, you know, this is not like a piece that's on a floor or a countertop, so I don't mind being a little loose with the prep work. But actually, this is a good example of what to do on a laminate countertop anyway. So at first, you want to chew up that laminate with like a 40 grit or 60 grit, honestly, like even looking at mine, like seeing how there's so much space that's like still shiny.
Yeah.
I would not be comfortable with doing this in like somebody's home. Like I would absolutely hit this again. And you can feel the difference. Like you can feel as soon as you're going over that glossy area, like it just slides so much easier. So you can do a low grit like sanding pad, or even like you can hit it with like a diamond cup wheel too, and just do it really fast. Like don't take your time because you'll chew through it. We're talking like, or like a flap disc. Like flap discs are good for this too. But you always want to rough up your surface really good. And the other key part, because vinyl is an oil-based product, and the very nature of an oil-based product is no matter how stable it is, eventually it is going to leach oil over time. Like that's why like a lot of cleaners and stuff actually contain, oh come on brain, what's the name of that oil? It's in everything. Myrcate. What's the first word? Oh, it's something myrcate. It's in everything. Like it's essentially the base oil of like baby oil, shaving cream, like a lot of different.
Mineral oil?
Mineral oil? No, not mineral oil. It's myrcate. It's something myrcate. I can't remember the first word. It's been a long time since I've had to purchase this or like use it. Actually, it might be isopropyl myrcate.
So alcohol mixed with oil. Alcopropyl.
Well, the isopropyl is it's a molecular term.
Also, it's
ISO.
So it's not just alcohol?
No, like that's isopropyl alcohol. Like that iso is like a essentially a title to like a molecular structure.
So isolated alcohol?
Yeah, isopropyl, like iso is isolated, one alone. Pro usually means positive propyl. So it could have to do with like on an atomic level, actually. Like that's my guess.
No,
like
but I find that like alchemy, like,
it makes sense.
interesting, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
I explain that to the that's like the biggest part that I think always gets the biggest views is when I say, hey, this floor might look like this when I leave, but it's gonna move around because you know it's ironically and you know they're trying to they're moving, you know what I mean? They want to separate from each other, and that's the
yeah.
So if I could understand it more, that'd be kind of cool.
It's a lot of it's just, I call it backyard scientist, you know. You just keep messing around with stuff until you like figure it out. And a lot of the times, the clues that you need are literally just in the word itself.
That's why I was trying to break it down, like.
Yeah, ISO. Yeah, I'm an etymology nerd for sure. I'll hear a word and I'm like, oh. And I start wondering, like, where does this word come from? What is the root? So whenever you're doing a beach coat, we can definitely call this one a beach coat. Oh, did we go live?
Miss Judy?
Yes.
Did,
Oh, sorry.
did we go live?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Hi. Sorry, YouTube. Today, we are going to be doing an example of a beach pour. It's very popular. You see it out there often. You know, it's that bird's eye view of a shoreline. I'm just taking a random scrap piece that we have in the back. This is a laminate piece for the kitchen display, but this is just going to sit back there, so we're going to use it. And it's always good to go over the same kind of materials you'll see in the real world. So this is a pretty good example of how to handle going over laminate. First step, you want to make sure to use a heavy grit and score that surface. Then you're going to wipe it with a lot of solvent. Like you even want to go like a TSP or like some kind of degreaser. Like you want to take any of that oil that's still there and just get it off. Because again, oil-based product, just over time, the very nature of it is it's going to push that oil to the surface. That's actually why, like you see, what's the best example of it, that oxidation? Oh, they're cars. Like you have a black piece, like a plastic on the car, and after so much time in the sun, no matter what you do, eventually it just turns to that white, like hazy kind of look.
Unless,
Yeah.
Jeeps are good for
unless
it.
you use ballistics.
True. But that happens because it's leaching that oil. Like that oil has just been pushed off, and that's what's making the product stable, you know? So you'll see examples of like people will take oxidized plastic and they'll hit it with a torch. And like hitting it with the torch actually brings back that shine for a minute. And it's very much temporary, you know, like it's not gonna last. But essentially you're heating that surface and it's drawing that oil up and it stops. And now you've just drawn more to the surface. So once that wipes off or oxidizes or is gone, like it is even less stable at that point. So you always wanna make sure good heavy grit. And then you would want to use a bonding primer. Now there's everything from, you have good old Zinser. Some people swear by it, some people scoff at the others that use it. There's always 50 ways to skin a cat. This stuff is great, it's wonderful. If you're really worried about a really good bite, there's multiple primers on the market that are like that Primera style, like that fusion primer. And that's using like a covalent bond to like really bite on. So for today, we're just gonna use this because it's quick. And what we'll do is on your boards, on your boards, I would actually say, don't even prime it. We're not gonna prime it. So what we're gonna do is get an idea of where you want your shoreline to be. I'm sure we need writing implements. We need a pencil, pen. Yeah. Pencil, pen, anything really. Here you go. Actually, I don't know if this won't work for me on this one. So this is one of those looks that really like cheating that look of depth to it is going to sell it. So like on a shoreline, you know, you have the shore's there, the water's meeting up to it. That shore is just barely under the water and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So like where you're starting right at your shore with your water, you want light. It's got to be very light, and you actually want to be able to see some of that sand underneath it. You can stop the shore, the actual sand, like once that blue is like starting to darken up and it looks great. Actually, there's a good example over there on the floor whenever you have like that light blue and then it gets a little bit darker and then it gets really dark. Like that just adds that look of depth, because anytime you see a shore from way up, like you can absolutely see that gradient shading of it. Thank you. Pass these around. Let you guys figure out where you want your shore established. And then we need tape. So let's see, razor blade. Where will I find? So if the line that you've made is your idea of where you want the water and the sand to meet, take it out just a little bit further so you can actually see that quartz in there, you know? Thanks, sir.
Thank you, my kind sir.
I'm not going to throw a pencil at you. That's dangerous.
I'll definitely see. Be the person that.
There you go.
Suit, man. Like that one?
Unfortunately, on paper, I'm worth about a popsicle stick and a shoestring. There are not many assets in this world that my name are on, and I like it that way. I always tell people that my wife is the actual adult out of the two of us, and she very much is. All right, so whenever I mask stuff out, you can either take the time to sit there and tear a piece, put it down, tear a piece, put it down. Like, that takes forever though. Get your big, broad, general movement out of the way. And then you come in.
Oh, wow.
So now, instead of sitting there and taking the time to really dial in the shape, you just do the big, bold move, and there you go. Much faster. That's the same reason why I like doing cutting channels into my mixed media floors. I always want to key that in, because being able to like lay down, you can get some wider tape and just hidden area. Okay, angle's changing a little bit. Hidden area, and then having that channel to just drag a razor blade in, then all the excess masking just comes right off.
So when you do that on the floor, like you just kind of have like one guy hold a vac and you kind of just take a 4-inch and just kind of carve, or using like a Dremel, or?
Yeah, the Dremel usually does the trick, or
Like a big Dremel, like a regular Dremel?
like a decent sized Dremel. I think it's the 3400, I believe. They come with like, you know, different model names.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty strong. It's not the hobbyist one for sure. Like it's got some power to it, you know. But really, at that point, it's what you're using to bite into it, like what you're using to actually chew, you know. What's the type of blade? It's carbide for sure, but there's a certain word for it, and it's almost like if you took like that shape that's on a file or a rasp, and just put it only on the end.
The little like pointy. I know you're saying.
Yeah, and it's like, it's great. Like it just bites in. Sometimes you run into you know, hard concrete, so like, yeah, you'll hit your resin and cuts through that fine, but in that case, usually you want to end up getting like an angle grinder and like a good strong wheel, you know, for cutting in. And it's pretty weird, like whenever you're doing these shapes, like these nice flowy shapes, and then you're using an angle grinder with like, you know, a little 4-inch wheel on it, and like trying to like pivot that and like keep it nice and tight and not just look like this was obviously carved with something this big, because everything has like the same kind of movement. You literally have to like find these pivot points where like you're turning this thing while also changing the angle. So like as you're making that cut, it's not widening out, like, because naturally it wants to do that as a wheel. So you have to like pivot, and once you get it down, it's like you can sit there and just cruise through. Like, I mean, I keyed that 4,000 square foot dispensary in New York. That was like maybe 2.5 hours. And like, that's a pretty intricate design to key in, you know, like there's lots of like, just get up every so often, stretch, and then just hunch back down and just keep on working through, you know?
You got like a lifetime supply of 93 premium now?
I wish.
You didn't keep up?
Not a lifetime supply. I mean, shit, if I go in, like, you know, I get hooked up for sure. I told him the next time that Tyson's coming through, I want to meet Mike Tyson. I have to meet Mike Tyson. That is one of my favorite human beings on the planet, ever. Guy's a psycho in the best way. All right, so we're not going to mess with any bonding primer on this one. I'm just going to jump straight into doing the beach coat. So now that you guys have this established, right, go ahead and use some tape. and mask off where you want that shoreline to end, not the shoreline, where you want the quartz to end. So mine, like right here, I'll have right about here is where my water will start. So you have that little bit that's going to be working its way into like that depth. You want to see it disappear. You don't want like a hard cutoff. You want to see it fade back. One of the things I see the most often whenever people are laying out the shoreline look is when water's coming in. I'm sure you can think back to like anytime you've sat on the beach. Like it's not just one whole like long line of that shore coming in or that wave coming in, you know. All of that doesn't hit and just come up together and then roll on back. Usually you have section, and you'll literally see, you know, one group of water mixed with another group of water, and then they all pull back together. And it's very rare that I see people take that time to like not just have it be one long wave, you know. I actually showed like that movement between the two bodies coming together and like moving out.
Can we put the tape out here?
So whatever side you want your water to be, that's where you want your tape. Because like you're trying to define the end of that quartz. So as you're putting yours down, yeah, so take a little bit, yeah, tear it. Just follow like the general layout of your shape.
Okay, gotcha.
You might want to mix up a little bit more because I can see just the tiniest point right there. Yeah. And you're going to have to put enough across it to raise
Bring
that
the
level
whole
up.
thing up.
Yeah.
All right, well, I can do that.
And you're good. Like if you mix it up soon and get it on there, like you'll be good. They'll be cohesive together. There'll be no issue.
All right, even though there's still some in here.
No, I actually, Bulletproof Resins does not endorse this message. I reuse cups regularly. Like,
Okay.
I literally, I will mix and have a color out of a cup, pour it out, take that cup directly back to my mixing station and keep using it.
Really?
I will pour more of a mix in that same cup.
I never do that.
Yeah, no, it's like you can't push it. Like you don't want 3 batches ago that old of resin being mixed in with the new stuff. But if it's like I mixed this and poured it out over the last 10-15 minutes, if you get right back and just you like right back into that cup, I've never had a problem. Don't do it though.
Do I use the
Same ratio.
ratio?
Yeah, that was 12, right? 8 and 4. I'd say go another 12, really. Like, because even though it's only that little bit that's so high up, you have to like flood out the entire thing to be higher than that.
Okay.
So another 12 should do it. All right, so once you have all of that laid in, take the same idea, like, yep, you already got it. Nice. So like on yours, like this is, yeah, that's your sand. So you'll just want to cut and then just peel that back. Have your big flat edges going off into the water area. I am going to grab a fast cure resin because we're gonna boogie on through this one. So one thing about the class, at least how I'm handling the classes, is I have a certain amount of curriculum that I want to go over and show real world examples of concepts and principles that unless you were an art kind of person growing up, or ever really took interest in it, you don't really necessarily know, even though a lot of it is just a subconscious thing. It's kind of like when people just have that flow, like they have that look, they can just do something. It's like how that person managed to get that look so smooth, or it's just sometimes it's wired in. You just know it looks good. You don't know why, but you know it looks good. So one of the great things about having quite a few people that are completely new to this is they can come in and say, like, I really want to know how to do this. Prime example, one of the students that is currently seeing a real world job site not too far down the road, he's interested in learning floors. So luckily, Coating Central had booked a job right down the road where they are doing lots and lots of surface prep over very hard concrete, which is a challenge at times. So this young man gets to go see the real world example of what he's going to be getting into doing these floors, the right way to prep. You got to take your time and do your prep right. And whenever he gets back from that, he'll continue on with the more artistic approach, right? This is taking the technical side of things and the artistic side of things and putting them together, and having a good dip some toes in each side, and be well-rounded.
Look good?
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Like that one?
Oh yeah.
And it's like a little over here. I think it kind of actually looks like that.
Yeah.
A little.
Stack granite.
Looks like one of those metal bars that massage therapists use to really dig in. Like this looks like a handlebar, and it just has like this little like point. I'll go.
Is that good?
I mean, it feels good. I mean,
No, is this good?
yeah, that's fine.
I don't know how to take that.
Well, it's just the shape,
That work looks like a handlebar.
It's ergonomical right there.
Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah, it's got a good flow to it. The design is very human. Whoa, you tinted that one?
That comes-
Actually, both of them were tinted,
Oh, all right. Very cool.
but I'm just trying to debate, do I put 2 drops like I did before?
Well,
Or just put 1?
it's going to have twice the volume now. I mean, really, like a good rule of thumb is like when you look in there, you can see, actually here, let me show the camera as well. When you look in this cup, you can really see the tint that's in there. But that's because there's so much volume up on itself. So right there, you see what looks blue, and then what's dripping off of there appears to be clear. It's that volume of itself that really gives the color. So if you want that green in there, I would say I would put 2 again. There's nothing wrong with it, Or you could leave that one 1 and pour it in different areas, so then you have a little bit of a variance in how opaque that green is.
Yeah, because this is more of the wet, cloudy area, where this is more of the deserty mountain.
Yeah, it is actually. Look at that. You're making landscapes, and I didn't even realize it. All right, we got a Parker too. What's up, man?
What's up?
You didn't bring me an energy drink? How dare you?
I know, I'm a failed class.
I wish I would have known you were on the way.
Oh, I didn't know I was on the way until I was on the way.
Till he told you?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, at some point, either I have to send
What's
you,
going on, guys?
or I have to run down and grab some more of
Oh, you need something.
these guys.
I mean, I can make the run right now. I mean, I don't have a board or nothing, so. Hey, Judy.
I mean,
I got it.
yeah, actually, I mean, if you want to do that now, I can actually get your board set up, so you'll be like pretty much
Okay.
right on par when you get back.
Run me through. What's the tape and what's
So
going
you
on
guys
with
are
this tape?
working on beach and he's continuing on his.
Yeah, he wanted to get his
Nice.
finished out.
Well, that's good, so everybody can.
So we're going to be doing beaches.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Like full on like quartz, like over there on the floor and everything. Like use some fast cure resins. Yeah, if you run and grab those, then I'll go ahead and get your board set up, and I'll do mine for the camera, then I'll jump over to yours and
Right on.
keep you on par with everyone else.
Oh, yeah. All right. So what exactly do you need? Just one.
I would say, I'd say grab like 15, maybe even 20 of them,
One
just in
quart?
case. Yeah, because once these are gone, then I don't think there's any other quart containers here. So if there's some left over, that's not exactly a bad thing. You know what? This would be a good time to show. Give me just one moment, YouTubes and students. I have to go grab a torch out of my truck because we have. Was that? Oh yeah, because we have a flood coat going on over here, and it's always good to torch a flood coat. Actually, I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up at all. Just looking at the sheen here, I can see lots of little micro bubbles that are holding on to the surface. So that torch is going to take care of all of those little micro bubbles. That's really close. If it does lay back down, it'll be a very small amount that's poking out.
What do you feel like?
One moment.
Yeah. Put like a blue tank.
Nice.
Kind of like what he did on his.
Yeah, that looks sick.
And then he can.
Just bumps on the side, here too. That's a bad one.
So what are you doing?
I'm just trying to make it look like a realistic wave. So,
So why are you masking it off? Like what is that for?
so, you could use some people just kind of just do like a
It's
random
time to climb again.
like design.
Oh, that's
But
what
what
really
makes this
pushed
different
it out.
is what we did is we chopped it off and then we used a razor blade to like kind of make it look more realistic. So we're gonna do like quartz on this side,
No.
10 to 10 quartz to get that inch look. And then I guess that's as far as we've gotten actually. He explained
So
that
he's
part.
gonna like build it up, like build a.
So he's gonna do the
He's
quartz
gonna
here.
do one pour first,
Yep.
and then wait for it to cure up.
I guess he's gonna do like a fast cure,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna pull this, and then it's gonna just be
So it
like,
has like a border.
Put on
and
Has
then
like
just kind of go.
Oh,
But he didn't go over this part yet. That's where we stopped. So
so it doesn't blend.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know this part. I'm not gonna try to put words in the great Madden Wolf.
My theory is like this would cure up, so like the colors don't mix. Right.
There it is.
Make sure. So I'm asking him. So you're masking it off. You're gonna do one pour first, wait for it to kind of cure up, and then do your second pour.
Yeah, so we will be. What we're doing is these beach pours always look better whenever you have like actual quartz on the beach. So we'll be using a fast cure resin. We can actually pull it like really tight too. And then we're going to broadcast quartz into it to rejection. We're just going to pile it on, let it set, wipe it off, and then whenever we have our water running up to it, you'll be able to have a certain amount of that shoreline run into the water. So there's not like a hard stop between water shore.
Okay.
You can actually kind of see it disappear into the depth.
And this will be like cured up enough that those won't try to mix.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, with the fast cure, like,
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I'll probably grab the MRAP super fast.
Nice.
Like, it'll be a couple of minutes before our work time is done, and you do not have to wait that long for it to kick off before you can meet up to it.
And that's why you would do a second pour,
Yep.
just like to create that.
I'm pretty proud of this wave, man. I think it looks
Nice.
kind of realistic.
Very ergonomic, very human. Torch time.
That's everything you need, just the cork up.
Yeah, unless you want to drive to a sketchy neighborhood.
Fredericksburg's got a few of them.
This makes me miss my wife. I gotta give my wife a shout out yet again. She's my little sausage. Sausage McMuffin. She loves them. I'm the bacon, egg, and cheese kind of guy. She's a sausage, egg, and cheese kind
On a
of girl.
biscuit or what though?
I mean, just some kind of bread, personally. Like Southern boy born and raised.
So
I like
biscuit, right?
biscuit. Yeah.
Biscuits, yeah. I don't like bagels, man. I feel
I
like
gotta say too, like I get ragged on often when I say it, but like McDonald's biscuit ain't bad.
their
Popeye's
breakfast,
biscuit,
their breakfast.
Bojangles.
that-
I'm sorry.
Dude, I miss Bojangles so much.
Bojangles
So
fudge.
much.
There's one like 30 minutes away.
We finally got a Popeyes up by, yes.
I had to go into the hospital and all I could see out my window was the sheets and a Bojangles. My nurse was actually nice enough the next morning to bring me in a sausage and biscuit.
That was cool.
I was like, you are the ultimate nurse. I love you.
Let them check you out.
Got to give my feature name. Got to give my feature name. Alright.
Ooh, I like your green tint on top. Oh,
We can.
oh, damn.
Yeah.
Push it tight enough.
Yeah,
Ain't too
well,
late.
There's some lumps inside. That's the epoxy that rolled down, so it couldn't get all the way out.
I forget the
Oh, yeah.
name.
That's what you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That's exactly what I'm gonna shoot for.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were just at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. I forget. Oh, there we go. It is the TS 4000. This is what allows you to invert this and not have an issue like your flame going out and then just shooting pure propane. They're not cheap by any means, and it's a good thing to always I mean, well, I call it a condom, pretty much. You take a glove or a bag or whatever, and you want to go over it. So whenever you grab this thing with your hand, if it's sticky, it doesn't get all built up around here, because then once that can't move, it's useless. And I have gone through quite a few of these things because I grab it in a rush, going, I don't have time to put a bag on it.
Where'd you get it?
Lowe's. Yeah, Lowe's, I believe.
Walmart got them too. I have the yellow one.
Yeah,
That has like
yellow
that,
one's
like,
pretty decent.
That has like that little swirly flame.
Yeah,
I have that one.
yeah, those are, it's weird, man. Ones that you would figure like the purpose that they're being sold for, like you should be able to invert it because you never know how you're gonna have to approach it, and then there's only a couple that allow you to do that. So you'll see a lot of people whenever they're even going like this. If it's like the like really like cheap version of these handles, it does not stay lit. Like as soon as you go too far that way, it just turns off. And the problem with that is one of the things that messes with resin and will cause it to amber really quickly down the road is propane, like different propellants being put into it, butane as well. It messes with the stability of it. So that's one of the things, like whenever people are putting spray paint in there, like all the different propellants that are in there, when you hold it too close to the surface and that propellant actually makes it in and doesn't have a chance to flash off before the paint hits, that's when you're gonna have like everything beside the spray paint is gonna yellow faster. Science. So unfortunately, YouTube viewers, I'm gonna get this set up to where I can have just like a camera that we can cut to at any time and just show you what I'm looking at. Our samples that we have been working on, these have been to show the concept of using layers, putting color breakup in your very base layer of primer, just things that you can do to essentially create an optical illusion of depth. And over here, he put some of these big chunky bits of, I guess you could call it cellophane, maybe glitter, but there's some big chunks in there that are trying to stick up. As he's doing that flood coat, some of it was still had little peaks. So he went even thicker with it, and there's lots of little micro bubbles that you can see in the sheen. Like as you move, you can see that light travel across it, and just about everywhere there's just little bubbles. And what that is, you know, we do introduce air to these products as we mix them. No matter how safe and chill you're being with it, there's going to be air introduced, and naturally it just wants to run away to the top of the surface. So this helps the process. I'm sure, you ever seen these? Using a torch? Yeah. So you don't want to be right up on it. You don't want to be too close, right? About 6 to 8 inches away, right? And you don't want to stay on one spot for too long.
Right.
Like that means you can come back to that spot and keep hitting it, but you don't want to hold it in one
Right
spot
there,
too
you don't
long,
wind up
because
burning
yes,
stuff
you
up.
will. Yes, you will. And it's a good thing to note that if you do happen to scorch a section, it is okay. You can fix it with another layer, but then you're in for another layer, which isn't always a bad thing. So you will want to really fast. And you also don't want to let it get onto the edge like the tape for too long, because it will catch on fire. And then you have to worry about little bits of ash working its way into your resin. So like already just that quick pass, that was, you know, moving all the way to one side and then all the way back. It's pretty quick, maybe a total of 15 seconds of torching. Most of the micro bubbles have already laid out. And at this point, you can see where those bubbles were. Like it's kind of ripply, but it's still very much settling. So what you do is you wait a little while. You want to see how it lays down. If you have any other micro bubbles that work its way up through, like I can see one right there. That might actually be a piece of debris, probably a piece of debris. So far, so good. I'll leave this one right here, just every so often. Yeah, take a look and kind of change the angle that you're looking at so you can catch the reflection of one of these lights and follow it through. The sheen shows all.
That's actually a part of the material. One of the flakes.
It still has a little high point sticking up.
Split a leak here and there.
Yeah, we've had
Oh no,
a
yeah.
few leaks, so that's why I'm kind of like got these like tucked in here.
So whenever you put tape on a surface, you always want to burnish it to that surface. Like I was saying, over there you can take a Sharpie and you rub the surface, and then the Sharpie's good because of that little like curved like round tip to it. You can like really get down into texture. So like whenever you have like that rock chiseled edge kind of texture, you can really run it in there and like push it down. As long as it's not like hemorrhaging, if it's a slow leak, that's okay. Yeah.
It's enough to grow one.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could pour more on there if you wanted to. All right, so fast cure resin. One moment, YouTube.
is yours? Yours is smaller? That's yours right there, right? Is that yours?
No, that's right here. I'm just gonna do a small little layer, just do little black little veins farther. If you not using that stuff. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Judy.
Hi.
You're looking amazing as usual.
You're fantastic. Well, you've taped down something.
Yeah.
A little slow getting started.
It's progress.
Is he going to get the supplies you need to? Let me see if I can help him.
Where's she going?
See if he needs any help.
Oh, he needs help. That's my baby right there.
She just went back there looking for him.
Unfortunately, we do not have any of the super fast here back there. Super fast? Bro, that's super fast. It's fast. We were, down very, very high. What's that? Super fast. You can wrap super fast here. The best way to see it is what color to have on there. So like green is the normal pure, fast pure is yellow, and then it's either like orange or red, and then it's the super fast pure. Want to use that whenever like temperatures drop, in winter, and it's like that being cold is going to slow down the curve top. So it's just sticky where it's like trying to do it fast, it's going to generate more. It's going to count cold and a lot of action.
Yeah, right.
It's like, if you use that super fast beer in the summer, you'll get like.
So, on here,
Have this.
this is, like, they're not even on
It's
camera right
fast.
now, we're live.
And then, during
So,
the winter,
if you,
get
like, if you
15
wanted
out.
to, like, right, we're going
It's enough
to
time.
use this view, like, it's standing in.
I never like to use
Or you
this
can go to
on
camera two,
anything other than,
and that's just like his view of that.
well, no,
So
actually, I
other
use
people,
my
I
fast
see
beer
that,
with
you
it,
don't,
but I was
you
using
switch salt, but I just don't use.
just because
So here's the time, how long the camera's been running.
Take the time.
Every 30 minutes, so the last time I did it was at 58 minutes, which it doesn't have to be that exact, as long as we did it. If I did it at 15, then I did it at 15, but I got to say very early.
This down first.
Whatever. So, but it's just so you can keep track, but that's the time. So all you gotta do is literally, there's two cameras. This one, and it's just like taking a picture, like the buttons here in the front. This little button here, like if I were to take
Yeah.
a picture, you just,
Good bit of our training
and then the other one's up here that you gotta climb. So, the camera's facing down, it's the same camera, I just climb up and I put one foot up here, like literally this is all I do. And then I just put a foot here, and then you gotta, where's the
wow.
button?
Perfect.
Right there, it's at the bottom. And the same thing, you just touch it.
Okay.
So it's a little, you gotta scale a little ladder, but that's it. I mean, that's
Okay.
literally all you gotta do.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not turning the camera off when he walks away.
Yeah.
I don't wanna mess anything up, so.
Charcoal, like medium brown.
But what the good thing about this,
Mouse gray.
I'll just make it the front line tight.
Yeah.
And there's endless options for colors in these pigments. They keep certain ones on hand. You can get into a lot of different safety pigments for like pouring apart certain stuff. There's one red safety pigment that is the most red I've ever found. It's hard. They have it. You know the name? It's part of the safety pigments, and just tell Corey you need one that has the DST. Say the red that has the DST logo.
Wait, so you make one? Really?
Well, I mean, it was being supplied before. Yeah. One of the problems with red that you run into a lot, here I'm gonna show
Camera, what we have going on here. So whenever you're doing a quartz coat, even though you are broadcasting into the resin, you do have some of the color showing through, because it's like this quartz is going to draw some of it up, right? So you don't want to go and use like a dark gray or black or green, or like there's plenty of colors that you don't want to use for a beach. You either want to keep it clear, right? Or this nice almond tone. Bulletproof Resins has these in jars. Some people call them pods. And you use one jar or pod for one kit. So every 2 gallons of A, you'll mix it into, right? You have the 1 gallon B, that makes 3 gallons. And it is very much a heavy pigment. Like, it is very, very pigmented.
Do you have any more of that?
Any more,
Black paint? Is there a little bit still left in there?
Did it leaking on you?
Okay. Sorry, YouTube. I forgot I didn't have this on. Still getting used to this whole live streaming thing. And one thing, to anybody that might be watching or watch this down the road, it is a little bit interesting to have people in person that you're communicating with, and then also people watching online. So if you feel like you're being ignored, well, you are, but it's not on purpose. All right, so we need to also get Parker set up so he's not too far behind.
Let me know if you need anything from me, brother. I got you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, actually, if you don't mind throwing down,
Some plastic.
yeah,
Some
or
sticks?
even just not necessarily some sticks, some tape.
Oh,
Yeah.
for the for his edges.
Yeah, get that same general
I got you.
move going. Thank you, sir.
This needs to be sanded down and then marked off for the
Oh, for the beach. So you don't have to sand this.
Okay.
Because MDF is literally, it's just sawdust and
Okay.
adhesive pressed together. Like, they literally just roll it out into these big slabs and then cut the board. So you already have, like, if you put water on this, you will very quickly see where it drinks it up, you know?
Right. It's going to absorb it.
You can go right over MDF with no sanding, absolutely.
All right. So I just need to mark this off.
Yes, get an idea of where you want your shoreline and your water to meet, and then you're going to come just a little bit past that, and that's where you'll really end that shoreline, because you want that quartz appearing to go down. Yeah, I can take that for you.
I'm just trying to stay away from that one.
Yeah, that's a good move.
I just want to stay away from it.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to like do a little bit some of the veins right here. Do you think I could just do dye right into it, so I don't have to make a whole other mix? Think about just like a little bit, put into a little bit like in a little cup, and just put a little like the
You could.
stick. Yes. Do you think so?
You could absolutely do that.
Yeah. I don't think it isn't even too perfect. I'm just messing around. I don't make one other mix or anything.
Yeah, actually, here, this will be a good moment to, as he's getting caught up with his beach, I can show you. This is very much the secret sauce. Like, this is this is worth the price of admission alone, what I'm about to show you, because people literally that are like, you do what? And I tell them, they're like, you can't do that. And I go, why? And they don't have an answer. So this is, it's pure acrylic. That's like all this is. It is just matte medium, you have gloss medium. This is, usually it will not yellow. It's archival. It is wonderful stuff. It's definitely got a little more expensive lately because the cost of raw materials. So this little guy right here, I believe is, oh man, close to 30, right? But you can also buy it in a gallon and get a much better deal on it. I think a gallon of it's,
You have to tint it yourself.
yeah, So it's milky, like it's opaque and milky whenever you pour it out, but it dries completely clear. And it's got a pretty good consistency to it, good viscosity. So once you have this stuff at your disposal, you can put micas, inks, dyes, pretty much every different type of colorant that we use will be fine in this. You want to follow that same general rule of thumb. You don't want to put too much more than like 10% by volume. But this is what sets my pieces way apart from other people's, because they see stuff in it and they're like, how the fuck did you do that? And it's like, I did it by hand. You can't do that. Yes, you can. Put it between the layers. You're sandwiching it in the layers. So in this case, what color are you thinking for the veining?
Black.
You want to do black? All right.
Do you think I should torch it first, or after we do that part? I didn't torch it yet. Or do you think it even needs it? I think it laid out pretty good.
This is just the other coating, right?
Yeah,
So-
it's just clear. Yeah.
Oh, you have
Or-
clear on there.
I used the rest of this stuff
I didn't realize that.
because he
Okay.
had some extra. And I
This is a little bit different now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I thought that this was still just the coat that was from yesterday.
It laid down so good you
Okay.
couldn't even tell.
Yeah, right. Actually, yeah, I was sitting there like, wait a minute. In this case, you don't want to use the acrylic.
Don't touch it.
No, I'm not. That's under. Not my fault.
What?
Is that underneath or is that actually in?
Too close for comfort.
It might, it might be
Motherfucker's like right there. Like you could be like right there, bro.
it might
Yeah, right there.
right here.
Yep.
That's in the epoxy
It looks
underneath.
good to me. There's stuff like that in natural stone, man. You know.
That's right. That's right.
It's like something.
That's why I was
It's
just
pretty
curious.
amazing how much you can get away with, like with finding debris in your pour and then looking at the client and being like, well, you know, we are replicating a natural stone. Oh yeah,
so-
that's right.
So if I want to do veins for this, do you think I should just do ink straight up?
You could just go straight in with ink, or you
It'll
can.
kinda give that, like, little like kind of.
It'll stay on top, like it'll try to stay on top of this current layer of resin.
Will it disperse any?
It can.
It can.
It can. It depends on how opaque you make that ink in there. Like if you pile it in, it's going to try to run. If you just drag it through, it'll lay down a little bit, but it's not going to like run. Like this is.
So what about a little bit of
Where's
black ink and
Parker's?
a little bit of black mica?
You could do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, if it's ink,
Or pigment.
it's totally good. Like if it's like one of the jars, one of these little guys right here. If you're using ink to go in and lay in like some fine veining into a clear layer, that's good. You don't want to take the universal liquid pigments, the one like little pods, the little jars. Don't do that.
Okay.
Because those, even though they will dry out, they're not stable once they're dry, right? All of these inks, you can put out, let it dry, and it is very, very, very stable. Like if you wipe it with like ISO or anything, you might catch a little bit of it coming off, but it's not running. It's not like smearing or anything. That stuff, if it's dried out and you wipe it with ISO, is going to reactivate and spread out. Like that has to have a carrier to be put into. The ink itself, like the little jars, it doesn't need a carrier. Like when it dries, it's stable, it's good to go. Those are also light/color fast and archival. So you know that whatever color you get out of them, it's going to stay that color for a long, long, long time. You know, now I'm actually kind of curious what would happen if just put acrylic in there. Nah, because it might cause a weird reaction. I'll do it on my piece.
Yeah, you're right. I might get you to actually sign that. Yeah.
How we doing over here? I gotta say, I actually really like having class where it's like we have something general that we're going over, and then it's like I kind of bounce around. Because I feel like everybody's not sitting there just like waiting to get through something. Yeah, you can still see that little bit of a peak right there.
Which one?
Right here. Poking back up a little bit. Honestly, I would say that it's going to keep leaking that little bit, and it'll probably be best just to let this kick off, do its thing. By the end of the class, later on in the day, you'll be able to pour a second layer on this. And like, you're local, right? Yeah, so before you leave at the end of the day, we can hit this with one more layer, and if you want to swing back in tomorrow and grab it, you can absolutely do that. Because this is the kind of stuff where if you keep trying to mess with it and like save this layer, make this your final layer, you run the risk of messing something up, essentially.
Right, and I am not trying to do that.
Yeah, so sometimes patience is the best virtue you can have with this kind of work, you know? So in like this case, yeah, I can even see that it's poking up just a little bit more already. Yeah, let this one go, and then what we can do is what little bit is sticking up, we can kind of knock it down. We can, let's see, it's
Just take some sandpaper or something.
sandpaper or even a razor blade. Like, you can just cut it off, and then because the recoat window will still be open, you can just pour right on top and it'll be good.
Okay.
Parker might have used all of it. Sorry, Parker, I couldn't help it. So most of the liquid pigments, there we go. Definitely throw the gloves on. Yeah, you got some.
Oh, wait.
Yep.
So I thought you said this
Don't
was
use that.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go straight into it. I thought you were going to make a little batch. Okay, there we go. Same page. Sorry about that. Ooh. That's sepia. Do we have a black ink?
the black pigment? I didn't see any black ink.
Yeah, I don't think I had any black ink with me. He used, that's what he used.
The black.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, I don't have black ink with me.
Oh, you actually use like an actual mix.
I use
Like
our
epoxy?
liquid pigment.
Yeah, he mixed these up.
Yeah, there you go. There's the evidence.
So the white,
Yeah, you have to ship every part separately.
Yeah.
Like if it's gonna go hazmat, you have to ship a part A and a part B in separate boxes. That's what I meant on the test. Yeah, because you can't combine the two hazardous shit in the same box. Or else,
so the white, last night before I lay down, I came out and checked these again, right? The white, I was like, oh no. The
No.
black, I was like, this definitely won't set.
No.
The white actually did, like somehow. And this is, I mean, like, it's still very much
It's
soft.
tacky.
I mean, like,
So and that's why that happened was because I just put too much.
it's way too much. Yeah, way too heavy.
Yeah. Okay.
But
10% by volume.
yeah, not, well, don't exceed 10% by volume.
And with black, you probably don't even need that. Like,
No,
you don't have
it
to
is
put
so strong. Like, it's very, very strong pigment. Where's your piece? I noticed on your board itself, the white cured, the black cured, like it's good. And I think
Maybe because
you remember that white or that black kind of ran away. I think that's why it managed to actually, because it like integrated and then just, yep.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I need to take note of that. 'Cause that's a project killer.
pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
That sucks, dude. Look at that.
No, that's right.
That's fucking part of it, dude.
Yeah. When Corey,
I couldn't sleep last night, man.
Shut the hell up, man. This motherfucker's crazy.
look,
Oh yeah.
I get what you mean. Like
I didn't think. I will say I did think about it. Though. I was like, damn, that fucking blew it.
there are
That's
two. No, there's 3 things out there on floors that I've done that
Where you
we're
just
talking the most random times it'll pop in my head, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I know.
This look stuff is like, it's
Yeah.
nobody else probably notices it to be completely real, but
I feel it.
literally the reason that I have gotten in the habit of going above and beyond, like in my prep work and like just how I approach this, is because my brain is very critical of myself.
Oh, dude, I get it. Yeah.
Like, is hypercritical, is not very friendly to me most of the time, and I just know those moments where I'm almost asleep and I have those things pop in my head, and I sit up like, oh man, I hate it.
It's
So
even worse when
I
it's not
avoid
just
it.
a looks thing. You're
Yeah.
like,
Oh
did
no.
I skip something in prep?
And that
You won't even know until 5
no,
years down the
I
road.
go back. If there's any second guessing of like, did I do this right?
Yeah.
Go back and do it. don't keep going.
You think about putting another layer on?
Yeah, we can do another layer.
No, I feel like you need another layer anyways, because or I mean, you could leave it like that, right?
You
But-
could. Yeah.
But for a client, you wouldn't leave it like that.
I mean, depending if it's like an accent panel,
Yeah.
like if
this
it's
is their
going on like a
countertop,
wall,
like, they're
yeah,
not
you
fucking-
would want to keep.
Scratch up their fingers and chip it out. or
You
something.
could.
But that's probably gonna take like more than one layer to actually cover that, huh?
You could pass over with like 120 grit, something
Ooh,
that's a
knock
little
it
more
down.
abrasive. Yeah, but don't like go onto this. Like keep it just on that to knock down those high points. And then just as over here, we built the dam,
Yeah.
and what that dam does is like it'll hold the volume of that epoxy up on top. We sprung a couple leaks. We'll be able to burnish the sides on this one so we don't have to worry about the leaks. But essentially it's holding it in volume in place, right? It's
Yeah.
thicker. Like this is 24 ounces of resin, like it's a good bit.
Wow.
And then once it hits that point to where it's like starting to slow down and move,
Did you hit it with the torch?
yeah.
And that's what it did? It just totally took out those bubbles, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
it just eats it up.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, usually Mach 1, like,
Does it itself pretty
you
good.
can not even touch it, and more often
No.
than not, it'll
Did it-
outgas.
Did it bubble like that because of how thick you poured it?
That's part of it, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you have to think, like, if you're pouring a ribbon, like, just pouring it out and, like, kind of getting, a general coverage, and then you're working it together,
Yeah.
as you push one row of resin into the other, you're going to be trapping a little bit of air. And
It's like flipping dough.
Exactly.
Dough, so.
exactly. So those bubbles will stay underneath, and when they're underneath, you might not even see them, like because they're so small, and then they just start rising to the surface. And so if you hit it with that torch, then the air inside of that's going to expand and rise up faster and just let go. Whenever I do torch a countertop, I usually torch it very early in the work time. Like once I have stuff kind of laid down in general, like I give it a quick pass, and then tool things like push stuff together, another really quick pass, and I'll let it sit, and I hit it one more time towards the end of the work time. So any other little bubbles that have managed to work their way up, because nothing's worse than, we had one of them, was it yours that had like the actual little bubble? Like after you hit it with the sandpaper, like opened it up.
Yeah. I had
There was like a
little-
crater.
It's still right there, actually.
Yeah, so that's a bubble that got trapped in and was so close to being able to let go before it cured, but it just didn't quite make it.
Wow, when you do those like multiple pours or multiple layers, like, you can really see
The depth.
that, like, that is sitting on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
it literally.
This, like, this shit is above that, and you can like really see it. It
Yeah.
just looks like it's sitting on top of that.
You can actually see the opaque pigments cast a shadow on the micas underneath it.
It's some crazy shit.
So as you move, even though there's maybe a 1/16 of an inch between that,
Yeah.
having that
You can see the shadow. Yeah, so like right there's a hole,
Mhm.
and there's that black little ribbon above it. there is a shadow
Yep.
casting down on the board.
And as you change your angle
you'll see
of
it,
perspective,
yeah.
like it sells that more and more.
When you do those deep pours and like river tables and shit, can you like pull ribbons as you're pouring it and kind of get it to like
You could.
go up through
Yeah,
the
you-
shit? You know?
Absolutely.
I've talked to one of my boys about that. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
Like you get it like to kind of go from the bottom to the top. You know what I mean?
What do you mean, like a ribbon like this?
Yeah, like if you were to pull this like as you're like building your layers,
You
get
could.
it to work like up through your layers.
I actually,
You know what I mean?
my weird space piece over there, that's quite a few layers. And
Yeah.
a lot of it was just, like testing. Like I wanted to see what would happen if I put these and then I put this on top of it. Like if this is like translucent with a color in it, and then this is color shift, and it gives you these colors. If you use translucent over that color, say like translucent blue over it, what part of that is it going to cancel out? What are we still going to get, and was it going to shift some colors too? You know, so that was just kind of like I wanted to know, and I had a big piece going on, so I'm like, I'm just going to keep layering stuff.
We were talking about letting it gel up a little bit,
Mhm.
deep pour, and then taking a syringe.
Oh
and
yeah.
Just kind of
Yeah.
syringe down there, the needle, and
Yeah.
pull it out.
You can make like a fucking jellyfish. With
Ooh.
like a little burst of like color.
Or like you see the people that do like the resin coasters and stuff, how they use it's usually like acrylic and like a little bit of silicone, and they'll drop it in, and like you get like these really defined drops, like
Yeah.
suspended. Like I like that. Oh, but the thing that occurred to me on this, like I want to do, this was supposed to be a 8x4 or a 10x8 panel. Like it was supposed to be big, like big. With that having so many layers, if I would have had like a more cohesive look in my head from the beginning, instead of just kind of like throwing stuff in to see what's going to happen, what I would have loved to do is do 3, maybe 4 layers, right? And have each one be predominantly clear, and then just have like that spiral. So like this is supposed to be like this is further away, that point.
I know
And then
exactly
it's
what
like
you're saying.
it's coming up.
You're like building.
So instead, if I would have like the first coat, like really establish this with like something wispy and like iridescent, you know, and maybe a tiny bit through here, let that sit, pour my next coat, start like here.
You're doing like
like a-
topography.
Yeah, yep,
Like you're like
exactly.
making topographical lines with your fucking.
Yeah, you could do that with your micas and actually just get so much depth out
Yeah, I
of it.
bet.
Like you'd be able to cheat that to look like right there is like way far away. As long as you're establishing that like gradual step up, and then you also want to make sure whatever your last layer is, whatever's supposed to be closest to us, like you might even want to switch micas and use something that's even finer, so it really sits like on top. Like you
Yeah,
could
with the
get
weight.
crazy depth out of this. Yeah, that's the beauty of like it's a layer of just like clear liquid that's no longer liquid. So you're refracting light. When light hits this surface, everything else underneath there, you can cheat it. Like it's a wide open world. I mean, even like these, they're like sitting down in there.
Little islands. Shit.
Like, I mean, that's a 3D textured thing. I mean, that was part of that material, you know? And you look at it, and just by how that light is refracting with all the layers around it, it's just so cool to see like something that you're focusing on, and as you move, you can see other stuff, depending on the angle, come over it, or it goes over certain things.
Yeah, 100%. So when you're building your layers, and I guess when you're trying to build depth, is your goal with your micas like always to have, or whatever you throw in ink, pigments and shit, is your goal to always have like a heavy, a medium, and like a light? So like one's on the, like
On
you think,
average,
like
yeah.
you always want something in each
Yeah,
layer?
I mean, it kind of depends on the look in general, but like
Yeah.
if depth is part of the goal, absolutely.
Like you think about like
That
this
variance.
one, like I want something here, here, here.
Yep.
Like
Yeah. And it definitely gives like, I mean, you're over there looking at like just even the veining on yours, where you're like, man, like
Well, on
like,
this
when
one-
you make very purposeful layers and like where you set everything, like you can just get so much depth out of it.
Like, I noticed on this one that like it's that spray paint you use, like right here. It's like the spray paint's almost like all I see.
Yeah,
Like
so
it really comes out on
it's
top.
that's
Like,
a
right.
it's called an interference mica. So interference, it's literally as that light passes through it, it is interfering with that light travel, right? So when you hit
like
from
blocking it.
yeah, so when you hit for like from the right angle, where right here you can see where
It would, like disappear. Like,
yeah, it's not
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But then whenever you hit with the right angle,
It's like it's all
it
like
reflects so much, it actually blocks the light from traveling to
I
the
noticed
other
that when
stuff.
it was darker yesterday, I was getting towards the end of the day or whatever. It was like, it almost everything else went like dull.
Yeah.
Almost when that shit lit up.
Yeah, because it's literally it's there's still some light that's getting
Yeah.
past it for sure, but most of it is just bing. And what's crazy is like that silver too. Like whenever you move over, like there are spots where you can't even hardly see that
Yeah.
silver,
Yep.
and then you catch the right angle, and it's like all of this lacing and stuff that is just sitting on the very, very top. Yeah, anytime you're starting to get into micas, like all the different like color shifts and stuff, like this is, they don't technically call this one an interference mica because it is pretty milky whenever it goes in. But if you put very little of this and then do a flood coat on something, you'll be able to see it at the right angle. But when you change your viewing angle, it'll completely flash. Like it'll just reflect everything. So you can't see anything other than this.
Wow.
And it's, again, like the name itself, interference. Like it is interfering. They use this a lot of interference micas on cars. Like a lot of the show cars that have like that like real slight chameleon kind of tone as like it drives past, or like even I noticed on my wife's new Honda, she got a CRV or HRV, whichever one, and it's like this really nice medium gray, and then it has an interference mica sprayed over it where it's gold. So like on those body lines, whenever you have like light hitting that body line a certain way, you get just these little streaks, like these little highlights of just like a nice subtle gold. And when you're right up on it, you
So
can't
you'd almost
hardly
want
see
that,
it.
like on your ridges or something to like
Yeah,
bring them,
Yeah.
like
you want to think,
your highlights,
yep, that's the way to put it.
pretty like creases or whatever.
And I mean, really, even these. So like, Megan's carries the iridescent green, let's see, iridescent blue, iridescent purple.
Sorry, iridescence, is that like synonymous with whatever you just said?
Iridescence, like an interference.
Yeah, interference. Is that
Most-
an interference mica or no?
It behaves as an interference mica, but the iridescent aspect of it is more so like you have to catch it from the right angle, and there's usually a variance of colors that it'll give you.
Okay.
So like on these, it's like whenever you have that purple in there, if you view it from one angle, you won't see it at all, or you might just see a little bit of that milky tone, and then you catch it from one angle, it's like really nice violet, and then change the angle just a little bit more, and it's like purple. It's like a
It's almost
deep
like an
violet.
ombre
Yeah,
deal. Sort
Yeah.
of thing going on.
but these are what really sell things and make it look like a legit piece of stone, especially whenever you're able to like set this further down in. That's how that end of the countertop over there, that labradorite look, has all that depth that it has, and it like even looks like it's glowing at night. Did I show you that? So silver alchemy. Silver alchemy is part of the very, very base layer. And then there's a good bit of like iridescent blues, different types, and even some color shifts in there.
Come to
But then-
Vegas, man. We got them. We got them.
So over here, this piece of labradorite section, when you see it, what's that?
Thought you were short of labradorite today.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we can do that instead of a galaxy and try to just work fast with it. This is a great example of like that depth.
I love those. Both those do.
Like right here especially, like it looks like it's going down in there.
It definitely does.
I posted a video of at night of this,
Well, I saw it.
and I shared it to a couple of the different, forums, and people were like, "How'd you do that?"
I've seen most of your pictures.
My favorite is like, "What colors did you use?" And it's like, man, it's not about colors. Like, it's really not. And it's like, also, what brand are you using? What colors do they have? Like, it's not even so much like the color of mica necessarily as it is like laying in that reflection. That very base layer that's super reflective is what sells this, No, I'm not a hack guy.
I want the black ones. This.
Yeah, you see that little bit popping through there? And that like black sitting on top? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do both of those.
We can kind of combine the two. Take one board and do one section labradorite, another section megalo. Like,
Good to me.
that might work. Parker, come here real quick. So whenever you're looking at this during the daytime, I personally feel that it's subpar compared to what I know I can make that labradorite look like. But this is a really good example of like, you see that depth in there? And like as you move, it's like, it literally looks like it's down in there, right? So right now we have all of these lights that are coming straight down on it, and it's giving us one look. You see these spots that are like almost white, they're so reflective.
Yep. Those are at the very bottom or something?
Actually, those are sitting like on top.
Yeah, okay.
They're not on the very top because there's a layer over top of them
Like
that's
this black
translucent
layer is
blue.
your last layer.
Yeah.
That's the top layer?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have
How many layers are there?
this one's like, there was the one layer that was like the stuff that was pretty much setting up, and I just worked that striation kind of pattern in, and that's that silver
You
alchemy.
do that with your fingers? Like you took your
Yeah,
fingers
yeah.
and just drag through that?
Yeah, just whoosh,
Wow.
laid it on down, right? And then,
You got these like gold little highlights going with it.
yeah, my iridescent like interference gold didn't overpower that black like I figured it would. It kind of popped through.
Also got these blues everywhere.
But I used to hate this part and was like ready to cover it up, right? And then when I got in town and I was walking through at night, and we had this light catching it from this angle, as I was walking past, like
Oh,
if you're
wow.
looking at it from here,
Yeah, you can't even
there's
see
nothing
anything else
but-
except that blue.
but
Huh?
watch this.
Holy shit.
It literally looks like it emits light.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like it's glowing.
It's like glowing from the bottom up. Huh?
Just reflecting.
Yeah, see when you start playing with the light like that, it really does make it look like craters.
It's like we're essentially, people shouldn't be saying I'm an artist when they do this. They should say I'm an illusion specialist. Like, that's what we're doing. We're creating illusions. But
I'm
by
sure that special effects background. Really
oh it's a big help for sure. But having that really reflective silver base, and then there's lots of different iridescent interference micas. Like there's some of the we have the iridescent purple, we have the iridescent blue. There's a little bit of iridescent green over here, and then as you're building up, so very first layer applied by hand. I guess we could consider that like a half layer, and then the following layer over that had lots of the interference micas and a little bit of the blue dye. I'll let that kick, and then the last layer is whenever I really flooded stuff out, I put a tiny bit of like the blue and the silver towards the top, and I take that black over everything, and so it's just sitting on top, showing all that depth underneath. But yeah, being able to have being able to like know that you can actually create that kind of illusion where there's plenty of stones that you do it because it has striations in it. If you're looking at it from a certain angle, you don't see things, but then as you turn it and it hits certain stuff because of that striation pattern, you have these parts that just like light up almost, like they reflect back to you. So taking this material, you can essentially do the same thing with it and just cheat it. Instead of having to have this much depth on it to look like you have depth, you can just next to nothing. All right. Let's get the first step of the beach done, and then we'll be pretty close to lunchtime. All right. So let's see. This is the one that we had set up for Parker. Yeah. We can move you back to wherever you want to be. So, let's see, I would say this side would be your sand. All right, so right now, we're about to be doing quartz broadcast, right? And we want to have that like actual sand on there, the actual quartz. You can technically have the water end right where that quartz stops, but my preference is to have that quartz keep running just a little bit. So it's like, even though we know like right here is going to be like where the water starts coming up onto it, by having that quartz established and then running the blue over it, you get this illusion that it's like running down in. So again, it just plays with that like that depth perception, you know, we're essentially cheating a depth, because in this case, this is like, we are literally making something that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet of depth on relatively quickly, right? So as we're working through this, like we're gonna have that really light sand, and then we're gonna have some translucent blue, some darker translucent blue, and then some like just straight up opaque, deep, deep blue. And we'll put those in and then just kind of barely work them together. And then some people go right over top of that at that moment and start laying in their waves. I like to let that set. Like I want that to do its thing, and then I can run clear and then the white for the waves over top of that. So for this one, I have to see if we have some Mach 5. I think we do. I think there's some in the back somewhere. Or we can use the, might have to do it in MRAP, to be honest. Which MRAP is not the best at not ambering, you know. It will be able to get the example done though. So whenever you're doing a beach coat, you always have to like mask out, you know, where you want your quartz to end. So in this case, I always find it easiest on a little scale like this. It's not that big of a deal. You could sit there and take your tape and just slowly, individually, you know, tear it and like kind of follow the line you want to do. Or you can get a big broad area and then come in with a razor blade. And then all of that just comes right up. You didn't have to take all that time to sit there and tear all of your tape. That's one of the things that I quickly figured out with doing mixed media floors. Like when you're going across thousands of square feet and you have to mask things out and like define edges and stuff, so much easier to literally just cut it in and then have a channel that you can follow and like drag your tool through. Come on now, lay down. There we go. That will be good enough. Everybody, you've gotten up to the same point? Yeah, there we go. All right, sweet. So we are going to take some MRAP fast cure. Oh, 1 second, we need quartz. can you pour me out like one container of this?
I'm gonna put this back so.
I would say no more than 16 ounces.
Okay.
16 ounces, and then corresponding 8 ounces if there's a. That clean? That is clean. Perfect.
So is this tinted?
Yes. I just so happened to grab the. Come on, brain. Wow. My bucket of MRAP is the same one that Landis used over there on that beach.
Oh, so this is
So,
left over or something?
yeah, if you tint your epoxy, you know, to have that kind of sand tone to begin with, you can get away with one broadcast instead of having to do a double broadcast.
I see. And that's kind of what people do with their flakes too. Like,
Yep.
Oh, they always like tint their, like the.
It's weird, like more and more people are finally starting to take like metallics and use that and then flake into it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. You can take mica and just put that down and, you know, like in the resin, then you flake into it. It's, you know how like if you flake, you just have that little bit of resin that's,
See a
you know,
little bit. It's like,
yeah.
wow.
So people are starting to throw,
Sick.
yeah.
Wow.
See,
So.
so you got to think if you're throwing like say you're going with like a domino blend, which is like white, gray, and black, right?
Yeah.
Like you could find a color that's in the general space to where you see it and you're like, oh, that's a nice accent color and that works well with this color palette. You could use that as your resin and then flake into it and you'd have just that little accent popping around.
I'm gonna try it on my board.
Yeah. I mean, that's an upsell too, you know? That's like, and you got to sell it as like the custom option. All the time I have people ask, you know, how do I not fall into that rat race that just slowly scrapes everybody down to the bottom where you're just undercutting. The thing is that when people are looking for this type of service, you already know they want the service. You're not trying to sell them the service. You're trying to sell them you being the one to do the service.
And you throw like mica in your poly top coat.
Yeah.
I have done that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
carbon.
the commercial grade. Yeah.
I've done a carbon and then a black tinted poly
There you go.
over that.
Yeah, but that looked good.
Oh snap! The man, the myth, the legend himself. She gonna get hard, Baba.
Oh man. I wanted this separate for now. That's a lot. All right, we're going to try to do this quickly. We're actually, you know what, just to avoid an issue, we're just going to let that one be a misfire.
Really?
Yeah, because this is fast cure. This sets really, really fast.
I
So
thought you said do it 8.
Well, yeah,
Oh, so it's just for you're not doing all 3.
that was for us to pour out of and then mix. It's all good. Yeah, you had the right idea. Just jumped ahead a little bit.
You sure you just gonna let it kick off?
Yeah. This stuff sets so quick, man. So quick. And
So what went wrong? Why is
I
it?
guess I was too much.
I wanted to have 16 ounces of this and 8 ounces of this for us to be able to pour out of those containers and make smaller mixes.
Oh, just you didn't want to mix together.
Yeah.
I
So
got you.
when I told them, 16 and 8,
I got you.
Now,
I guess I should have specified not in the same bucket right now.
So what would this actually set as? Part of like the beach area, or
It's the binder for the
the binder?
quartz.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
Feature.
I can use that one for mine as long as I'm quick enough with the quartz. Hello. So this isn't the best looking quartz to do a beach with, but it'll get the point across. One of the best things that I think people can use for sand on a beach pour is actually play sand.
Really?
But you want to sift it, like get out any big chunks of debris, and also make sure it's dry, like completely dry.
Is there a risk to that, like using natural, real stuff like that with epoxy? Like I see you have like pebbles.
There can be.
Like that. I just had a guy call in because he was using commercial grade to grout a floor, a shower floor, and he had like river stone.
Yeah.
And I guess it ambered really fast, like in 2 weeks. He's
I
saying
can see
that
why.
Commercial grade already ambered, which I'm not understanding why. But I just kind of blamed it on like maybe it had some reaction to the stones. I don't know if that's bullshit or not. Maybe that
It could be. It could be a reaction
But
with the
is there, like,
stones.
problems with that?
Yes and no. Like if you take your time to really wash the stones beforehand,
Clean 'em.
yeah, definitely. Like you want to wash them.
You want us to kind of like go along with you and talk to you guys material too? Like do the same thing you're doing? Or just watch?
I mean, yeah, if you feel comfortable, you might have to do a couple of mixes, like have one on this side and one on this side. Let's see. The idea in my mind was me do the one and then set you guys up with 2 different batches mixed up in slightly different time, like maybe 5 minutes apart.
Damn, I fucked it all up.
Oh, it's
man.
all good.
Madden
It's all
hates
good.
me, man. Damn. No autograph and picture for me. guys.
Nope.
You blew it.
All right, so this, I just realized that I'm doing yours instead of mine.
Hey, there's plenty of material.
That's true. All right. So you want to pull this pretty thin, pretty tight. You don't want to broadcast into too much resin. Like you want to make sure that there's not like a pool of it, because as you throw quartz in it, it will wick it up and you get some weird reactions where like you almost kind of like, you create these like mounds almost, you know? So one of the key things to do is once you get your resin down, you want to let it kick off a little bit before you start broadcasting into it. If you guys want to go ahead and mix up one more and
So I
start
have the
over
8
on
and
this
the-
side.
I have the 8 and the 16. You mean like make smaller mixes out of that?
Yes, yeah. So if you took that 8 and a 16 and then broke that down into 2 mixes, that'd be perfect.
What's that guy's name?
Yeah.
Parker?
You could just ask me.
I was just messing with them niggas. I'm saying you do it.
I'm not confident of it.
You're not confident in mixing?
Not with the super fast stuff.
It's already poured for you. All you gotta do is make smaller mixes. You said you want to learn the material, right?
I do get it. Fast cure is a little bit intimidating if you don't have a good
Look,
bit of
man, I
I
experience.
saw you blow, dude. It's like really throwing me off.
I really didn't though, actually.
That's the stuff that's already made, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that has probably already reached the end of its. No, actually, I mean that's still going. That was 16 and 8. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, if you guys want to take this and you got to get out of the bucket quick, you might be fine with this one. Like,
So don't even mix it. Don't mix more.
no.
Use that.
Hey,
Here.
you mix it up all the way, right? You mix it up all the way, right? Because when I made that, I poured the other 16 and 8. I did not pass. You wanted it. So I left him to mix it. I think he mixed it. He's looking at it like, whoa.
Is that mixed right?
Hey, you know what? I'm going to take him for his word. Maybe add some value.
All right. Parker, I'm going to set yours right here so I can clean up mine real quick.
It's not going over here. Are you sure you did mix that? How long?
I guess I should give a little piece of advice for people that are also teaching. Don't let your students mix all the time.
Can you turn this camera back this way? Here, let me see this real quick. Thank you, sir. All right. So you want to pull it kind of tight.
Pull it tight.
You want to get it in place relatively quickly. This is a fast cure. Luckily, that AC is kicking, and
yeah, it's
we're getting
probably-
blasted over here in the training area. So
I do kind of feel it getting tacky, actually.
yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
And it's fast. Once it starts tacking up, you do not have much time
Like smell to it.
yet.
They say I didn't blow it after all.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Don't celebrate.
Hey, nah, it's poor, right? I can tell you that though. I don't know if bro mixed it over there.
All right. So once you have your quartz or your resin all troweled out, you're going to wait for it to really start to gel up. Like you don't want it flowing much at all.
Gosh, that loves it.
What a rookie.
Will this stuff tear your skin up? It's like concrete.
Yeah, dude. I'm allergic to this shit. I'll break out.
Are you?
You get
Yeah.
burned by it.
I have to actually use that shit that they there's stuff that they actually
We sell
sell.
like HVAC there to like clean it. So it
And they
takes
sell
off
the stuff that you can use too, like if you get it on your skin. I forgot the fuck it's called, but
Yeah, HVAC.
that's what it is.
Yeah, to get off your skin. Yeah.
But I think it would break most people out. I mean, it's chemical.
Yeah, I would imagine it kind of burns like.
Yeah. So I don't think like that's like exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, if this stuff gets on your skin and it has time to really bite in and cure, yeah, no, it's.
And that shit's gonna stay on you for like a week too.
And when it does come off, you're going to be raw in that spot because it's going to take a couple layers of skin with it.
No, that's another thing I kind of tell people too, because for some reason, man, I hate I have a love-hate relationship with Rust-Oleum because they made those little like epoxy kits and people confuse that for epoxy, and I'm like, no, that's like latex paint.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like when we put this shit down, let's say, like it bites to the concrete. So when you prep right, you want this shit up. It's gonna take part of the concrete with it, or you're
Yeah.
gonna have to sit on there and grind it for 20 work hours.
Talking about the epoxy paint.
No, well,
it's like the Rust-Oleum
people
brand
confuse the
garage
Rust-Oleum
kits.
with like actual epoxy. So like I'll go in and I'll go like do a walkthrough and they'll be like, half the time, and they'll have that stuff down and they'll ask like, hey, is it gonna be like this? I'm like, no. And then they don't even do like the full broadcast. Like I think those little a little flake here, a little flake here. I think that stuff looks so disgusting.
Yeah.
Like,
like real light broadcast.
yeah, I feel like it looks so nasty. Ugh.
Just looks like you didn't have enough flakes.
And then when they put that Rust-Oleum stuff down,
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
like
"Look at
half,
the top."
half coverage is gross.
Yeah.
It can look good if you've got like a good distribution and it's nice and even, like evenly distributed. It can look all right. Most of the time, it's not evenly distributed though.
I was about to say, I'm gonna go on a limb and say I don't think I've ever seen like a good movie.
Yeah, they're few and far between.
It's good to go.
Absolutely. You might want to have a little bit more right up there on the edge of that
Do
tape.
you want me to pour out like some sand and like some buckets for everyone?
That would be awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but then I realized I have to quickly get this done, so
I'm gonna make one.
it's the same no matter what color scheme you end up going with. The technique is generally the same.
So we want to broadcast in this layer.
Yes, it's this first mix that we had is starting to get there.
You gonna pass these around, brother? Thank you. I think that's enough, right, man?
Yeah, it should be good if we just have like 2 or 3 like
2 or 3?
amongst everybody to kind of pass around.
Yeah, I'll rub it in, Joe.
There we go. I probably should say for camera purposes, I'm not still spreading this around. I am more so feeling the consistency as it's starting to kick. You definitely don't have to keep moving this stuff. I'm trying to get an idea of how much work time we're going to have for the students. That's good.
We can give you extra ones, which is bigger. We can just kind of give it to somebody if they need it.
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple of different like beach designs that I keep dreaming up every so often. One of them's the black beach with like the galaxy, like the Milky Way in the sky reflecting off the ocean. Like, that'd be nuts. And then do your waves like glow in the dark, like that'd be sick. Even do the galaxy in like glow in the dark. That's one. And then I want to do one where like, what does a beach look like? If the moon had an ocean, what would a beach look like? That'd be sick, you know? So like you can take that clear quartz, and one of the first things that made me realize like, oh, we can do things with this clear quartz. Like we can use it in like a really decorative aspect. Is out in New York on that dispensary job, my base coat, my body coat of MVP definitely had some imperfections in it, you know, but it didn't really matter because our system was going thick, right? So we took our resin and we put a white mica in it, and the base layer that was down was black. So as we're pulling this white mica single shot over that, anywhere where there's like imperfections, divots, you can see it filling it in, because like when it's pulled thin, you can see through that mica. When it's starting to get some body, you can't see through it. So it's kind of like a depth gauge for us to look and realize like, okay, we don't need to throw sand in or quartz in this yet, because like these areas have pools, and if we do, they're just going to wick up. So like we have to let this kick off and avoid that area like for the time being. But whenever we were throwing down that clear mica and we scrape the excess, suddenly we realize that you have that black, that variance of that white mica going into those different imperfections, and then the clear quartz on top of it. It literally looked like a moon surface, like especially because a lot of the imperfections were like divots and like little like craters and stuff. It looked like the moon. Like, and it's got this crazy depth to it because it's this clear quartz on top of it, you know? It's like if you're really sick to do a beach where you do like that moon kind of surface and then just have a wild looking ocean coming up to it.
When you're trying to
Moon
make
shore.
like texture like that,
What's that?
do you ever work on like not a flat surface? Do you ever get your texture just from working on like?
Sometimes you can get really good texture out of like the tarps. Like epoxy won't stick to that, right? So you can actually crumple up plastic and stuff and then run a layer of resin on it, let it kick, and then pop it off. And you have resin, and resin adheres to resin, so you prep that, you put down a coat, and then you laminate it in. So you get actual texture. And with that, if you use like certain
like a
micas,
cast.
almost like a cast, yeah. Yeah, but then you have like these pieces of resin that, you know, you can scuff the back, or even, you know, if you want to prep the top too, whatever. But you lay it down, you laminate it in, and as long as that back of it's scuffed, it's going to just bite right on. But then you can continue running over that, and if you have, say, like some of the color shifting micas or like iridescent micas, ones that like with a really like bright flash to it when the light hits it right, you actually have physical texture. And then whenever you encase it, like it looks like you would be able to touch it and feel, you know, something, but it's in the resin. Yeah. I know I've heard of a guy that he did an install that was supposed to look like a swamp, right? And he took clay and actually sculpted like ripples and like even like water drops.
Yeah.
And then he molded it in silicone, ran it in resin, popped it out. As he's doing his floor, he's taking these resin pieces and just setting it in. So like it's giving this subtle texture and even making it look like it's dripping, and like we're talking like when you put a drop in and it goes bloom and it like shoots back up. Like he had sections like that.
Wow.
This is sick. Like,
So,
it's
like,
really
your
cool.
decor, shit, like, you can make these little 3D pieces, put them in that thing, and fucking
Yep.
case at the end. Yeah. Something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
One of the classes I do want to bring to this is mold making. So like,
Well, that's kind of what we were just talking about. Yeah, like, it's kinda
yeah,
like
yeah,
making
yeah, you're
molds,
making a
so,
mold.
yeah.
Yep. I like there's, and even like people call like the forms that you build, like the island over there. Like there is a difference between a form and a mold. You know, like that's a form. It's pretty much you're getting one shape out or like one use out of it. Once you pour it in, you get that shape. You pop it off, it's gone. A mold, if it's made out of silicone, you can keep around for. I mean, I've got silicone molds that have been with me for 15 years. Like they're still going.
So for stuff like that, you form it up like a concrete form, and then you pour it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
like
wouldn't use it. So that's not like cause like mortar is like thick enough where you could probably like you don't sculpt that, you pour it. I guess is my question.
so. The form you build, it's almost like if you took that island and you flipped it upside down, like that's how the form was made, right? So everything that is on the face that we see gets packed in to the form. So like he made individual, you know, he made a white batch, a gray batch, just different variances, and like literally would knead it, kind of get it to a certain consistency, and then just pack it in to the face of that form, and then he built up layers past that. And then it gets a foam buck in it. Like it's a lot of foam in there. So it looks like it's a big, heavy chunk of solid concrete, but it probably take, it's still heavy, don't get me wrong. So I'd say easily 4 of us could lift it. Like it's really damn cool. And like after you pack that into the face of the form, it's got glass fiber reinforcement. So like, when those things are cured all the way, the amount of like strength that it has is absolutely nuts. Like you see those displays where people take like big chunks of foam and they make like grottos and stuff for their pool, and they have like big rocks sticking out. Like that's literally styrofoam and then a netting called scrim, and you put that over, you pin it in place, and then your mix that you're carving with actually has like fiber in it. So even though you have this big jutting out piece that is only being supported with foam, plastic netting, and concrete, you can get out there and like, you could park a car on it if you wanted to. Like the tensile strength of it is off the charts. It's crazy. It's pretty wild. You would never figure that just throwing some fibers in it would make that much of a difference, but it absolutely does. Are we completely sure that this was catalyzed right and mixed right?
I feel mine getting pretty ticky.
It's getting there. All right. Must just be that that AC blowing over
I
here.
got faith in my guy over there, man.
So, yeah, that's getting there. You can see over here on mine, it is starting to gel, but it's still very much liquidy. So you don't want to like throw any quartz into this yet, because it is just going to drink it up. How about you guys? How's it feel?
Feel a little wet.
Yeah. All right, we got a little while. I guess while that's doing that, how many boards do we have left? We can go ahead and prep for the other board we're going to be doing. Everybody cool with labradorite? Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know.
The galaxy thing?
Over there on that, that's labradorite, and then right beside it, that's that galaxy, that like end that we were looking at. That's what I'm thinking is like we can actually do one part of a board, half labradorite, half outer
I
space.
know I kind of like push for the beach, so whatever everyone else wants to do, I'll be cool with that. We did the beach one of the days.
I just want mine to be able to have some kind of a glitter.
Yeah, you do some glitter work.
Some point in
Yeah.
some kind of a, so if the lights go out, lights hit it,
Hmm.
I want it to be able to have some kind of a glimmer. Slight.
Have you seen over there on that floor that's closest to the window, there's some holographic glitter that got laid in? Let's see, because glitter, there's a large world of glitter. There's a lot of looks. See what he's thinking. That, you're in luck.
Something like that.
I've got holographic glitter.
Ocean, beachy style.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could even put like that kind of glitter like in your ocean port. Like you absolutely could. There's nothing really stopping it, you know.
I'm gonna top off Megan's bay. Sorry. Just gonna do it.
There we go.
If I knew I was gonna do this, I would have brought some of their sand with me.
Yeah, you should have. It's actually
Matter of fact,
that's a
I'm gonna make a phone call.
if you can get good at laying down these beach looks, like a lot of people take sand from family vacations on beaches. And if you
Just
can
did.
make something that looks cool on a wall and actually has that sand, like that's money. Like people will pay for that sentimental stuff.
They tell everybody
Like,
about
and it's fun, you know?
I got from Wichita Beach.
Well, that's like for a while. Like my wife also was in the special effects field, so you know she got all the training for sculpture, mold making, casting, like all of the stuff. And even though she eventually just went into hair like full tilt, she would still make these like just little like trinket kind of charm things, you know. And so many times she has taken ashes that her friends gave her from, you know, a loved one, a pet, whatever it may be, and she takes those ashes and she makes these little like charms and stuff with it. And it's epoxy, micas, and the ash. So that way you can wear a little piece of your loved one all the time. And she did one, and then it's like she doesn't advertise it, nothing like that. Every like usually like once a year, like somebody's going, "Can you make me one?" She's like, "Yeah." Like, and that's again sentimental, you know. Like if you can make things well and pull on the heartstrings. That sounds like a really scummy way of saying it, but it's true. It is true. This is advertising. Like even as we're like performing a service, like we got to make money off of it, you know.
Yeah, I just made a couple memorial pieces of a couple of my old coworkers.
Still got to live on.
See, we got a board there. We got boards here. Oh, that looks great. Oh, you did like the laser engraving too?
Yeah. So I made one board. So I made one for the family and one for the clinic.
Oh man, that's great. I love that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good.
And then I did 2 rounds also for another person. Let's see. I'm trying to get that mirror effect because they only asked for one at the beginning, and then they saw the other one, so they wanted 2. So I made 2 of them.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
put the river on opposite sides.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a mirror.
that's a good idea, man. That's a great idea.
Oh, hell yeah. Those look, I mean, dude, it looks similar. Let me see. They're pretty close.
All right. Well, this is going to continue kicking. Don't want to cast into it yet. Trust me. Let's see. We have 2 boards back here. There's one there.
Oh, there it is. Oh shit, you see?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Smoking.
Look, man.
Oh, it's smoking.
Look, it melted the bottom of it. Yeah.
Yep. You don't want to breathe that in either. True. Oh man, I forgot I had my microphone on me. I'm back there slamming that door. It's loud. Yeah, that was a good example of volume. If you didn't catch that on camera, we had some of this MRAP fast cure, which on everybody's board is still very much tacky. And then there was a little bit too much sitting on top of itself in a bucket And it went from totally cool, totally fine to suddenly it's smoking and it's melting the plastic. And I guarantee you that bucket is slowly just curling in on itself right now. Yeah, always want to make sure, especially like whenever you have stuff left over in a bucket, you get towards the end of your project, your pour, it's very easy to just shove stuff to the side and worry about cleaning it up later. Don't do that. You can cause fires. It can be very bad.
I've actually seen on the epoxy polishing God's page, someone not too long ago said that they did that. They put it like in the grass,
Yep.
and then they caught the whole lawn.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Luckily, like
it's classification.
these, I mean, they definitely get hot, but like there's some resins that when that starts happening, it's just an exponential thing. So it's like, oh, we're smoking. Okay, well now the heat's really kicking off that exothermic reaction even more. And then it starts to expand so fast, but also trying to cure that it cracks up and will like throw chunks out. Like fiberglass resin, polyester resin, like you can literally mix up a cup, over catalyze it, leave it, and you'll watch it start to smoke. It'll start to come in on itself, and you'll start hearing pop, 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 pop. And it'll just throw these little flaming chunks off of it.
I think Polycrete used to do that. It does that.
Okay.
You guys ever use Polycrete?
I've heard of it. I've never used it.
I think Polycrete does that. And you had to like kind of like recall it and rebrand or something like that. Revamp the formula.
It's like people will have, like when you're doing woodworking or something like that, and you have solvent rags, and you're not thinking, you just toss it into the, the garbage can.
Yeah.
No good.
They will combust.
You got some crazy ringtones. He had he had two silencer assassin. Then he had the predator.
Yeah.
Your predator gurgle.
You know,
At least you always know who's calling you.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
All right, so while these are kicking off the rest of the way, because again, we don't want to throw in this too soon, you end up with a mess, that's for sure. Nothing's worse too if you're in somewhere that's slightly off level, right? And you have a little bit too much resin and you broadcast into it too soon, you just kind of get like a mudslide. Like it's just bringing it.
That did happen.
I've had it happen. You stand at the border where you want it to end and you just keep wiping, keep scraping the channel, keep wiping, keep scraping the channel. And then you have to make sure that like that area is not too far above everything else. So in this case, I literally just had to sit there, keep guarding that edge. And then there was a good half of this section that I had to take a grinder and knock down and do a really tight coat broadcast into. Because it was too far of a difference between the piece beside it, Yep, it's definitely I can feel a little bit of heat coming off of it. So, while we're doing this, we are going to grab more boards and prep for another look. More boards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Absolutely. For this one, we are going to, did I do this right? Yes, I need one more. That's 4, I've got one back there. I'm trying to think of where we can work. We might have to put these over there, and
You
then
can move those two, right?
Yeah, we might just throw yours away. Make some space. That's fine.
It's not wet. Hey, if they're not wet for sure.
yeah, there's some plastic over here, pretty sure. I did realize we have a perfect setting over on these workbenches to pour large sections. Like we literally have a tray, like a framed area to do pours.
That's actually insane. Yeah, line it with some plastic
Mhm.
and you do like a man. That's
So like with this situation, I would say like some kind of paintable caulk, you know? You would want to come through and seal everything, and then you could literally just pour. I'm thinking about doing some of them tonight.
Hi, Judy.
It
Hi.
How are you?
doesn't make a difference.
I like your gold locks.
My gold locks. I made them just for you.
Your goldy locks.
I knew you'd like them.
All right, so I'll leave mine where it is.
I don't want you over here next to me, bro. I don't know that gain is running.
Yo. So for this one, we want a black base. So I am going to step in the back real quick and see if we have anything that we can just roll on it versus spraying it.
Block. Remember that Anchorman too? He was like, block.
One moment, YouTubes.
You ever seen Anchorman too?
Yeah, I feel like.
Or at least any of the Anchorman. I feel like I've seen it before.
What are we doing here? Live recording?
Oh shit. Yeah, so he wants a black base. What are we doing? Or keep a steak.
I'm just getting the sticker off this thing.
What are you doing over there?
Getting the sticker off. I was gonna use this side, but it's gouged.
That's okay. Scared of a little gas?
Yep.
You like sausage?
This is slightly damp with propanol.
Oh yeah.
I'll get that glue off.
Hey man.
Go, appreciate it.
Got it?
We don't have anything we can roll on and be able to pour today, so we're going to spray instead. So let's just make sure that we're not spraying around anything to a
We're not spraying near the
Should we go-
So the look that we're
Spraying
doing
that
this is
way.
Labrador.
It will be.
How's that?
Do that as well for the guys. Oh shit.
I'm the worst.
I just made it worse.
The base color for the Labrador is black.
Oh, that gold, there's a lot of money in that cut.
Spilling it.
Base color is also black. So we'll like create
A little bit of gold in the ocean.
Ocean.
Certain steps that we do for
I know, I like it.
underneath prep work before we actually pour resin at all. Same thing for Galaxy. So, but in general, black's a good way to start for sure.
I know a graffitier when I see one. I can tell by the way you were shaking that phone. I can tell the way you were shaking that phone.
Want to know.
We're all artists. We're all artists here, right? We're all artists. This is a safe space.
I've seen some Zeta tags on the highway. I guess we don't need to clean this and spray paint, right? Or you might as well.
I think you're gonna be alright, man.
Like the Asian. You gonna be alright?
Yeah, I think you're gonna be alright.
Alright, man.
No, man, because there's been some guys in there, like John sucks.
Really?
Yeah, John sucks. Well, He wasn't no.
Did you like John?
He didn't know
You like John?
he didn't know what he was talking about though. When you had to really ask a really deep question, who'd you call? Who did John refer you to? Nick.
Yeah, that's everybody. Everybody refers everybody to him.
But it's different though. Like it was different though.
Galaxy. But we have a couple of different versions of flat black available at our disposal.
Who's phone is those spray phones?
So we will. Here, let me turn on that exhaust thing.
The spray paint your phone.
Does it matter what type of like paint you would use for like a base?
I mean, you want to make sure, like, it depends on what the substrate is that you're going over. In this case, with it being MDF, and like, you have the Krylon Fusion, that lights on really well. And then the other ones are primers, so they're even advanced with light.
Okay.
So in this case,
So are we doing like
What you got going on over there?
are we doing like a full black, or are we kind of doing like black, full black?
black. I wish there's no Mach 5.
Dude, we don't have Mach 5 in Vegas.
Okay.
I've never even seen Mach 5 to be honest with you.
I use Mach 5 all the time.
Really?
That's great.
I've never seen it.
I've never used Mach 5 either. Actually, now I think about it.
It's
It's just a countertop perceptive.
it's quick. You can use it. A lot of different applications.
It's just like Mach 1 fast.
You ever do a poly countertop?
Yeah. So Mach 1, a certain speed, I can't remember what Mach 1 is, but then Mach 5 is way up there. They're like
I don't know why we're not
sound
here.
barriers.
Every time it's doctors about that.
Yeah, I mean, I usually keep some on hand, you know?
Oh, really?
I could see it being something that, like, there's probably not that many people picking it up regularly.
Why do you keep it on hand? For like little repairs or something?
Repairs, like, really good for repairs. But then also, like, if you have situations like, say you need to seal something, very quickly, like you can, it's very fast from, putting it down and then being able to recoat it, like it's quick.
So would you rather have Mach 5 to be here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I was hoping that the super fast pure MRAP was back there because it kicks so fast. Like,
We don't talk about that
and,
either.
yeah, that's a seasonal thing for the most part. Like that'll come around in winter. That's about the only time you can actually use it because like if you're using it and it's anything like near 70 degrees, like it's going to kick. And it is yeah, super fast MRAP. And that Mach 5, like that's
Mach 5 to seal.
yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Because it sets up the
You seal like you have to do the live edge or whatever before you pour it in the river.
especially on full court.
Yeah, your buddy left.
Oh yeah, we're almost there.
Cut that wood or whatever.
Yeah.
He brought it up like
This will work out just about perfect.
Yeah, he is so proud of that wood.
He was like, "See those miners? I cut those miners." I'm like, "Dude, I'm that man."
We gotta fix those miners.
Really?
Man, the miners are.
To anyone who does view on YouTube, again, it's an interesting situation to have a camera watching me, and I feel like I need to address you guys every so often, but then also people here in person. We will be doing some streaming content and tutorials that is just purely focused on the camera, but it might be a bit boring to sit here and watch this and not be here in person actually participating, but with the amount of questions that are being asked from the students, I guarantee you there's tons of great little gold nuggets of information in there if you take the time to really listen.
Hey man, let the painters fix it. You know what I mean? Let the painters fix it.
Like that.
Oh yeah, that's not great.
This man's got spray paint experience.
He's a graffiti artist.
Really?
Yeah,
Use it.
that's how you do it right there.
I don't do it wrong.
You want to overlap slightly, come out past your edge and past your edge.
Dude, I'm trying my hardest to not. I'm like trying to keep this nozzle facing this way.
Yeah. Oh, if you're ever worried about adhesion with paint, years ago I had a Rust-Oleum rep come into one of the shops that I was working in and show that if you take any spray paint, but especially Rust-Oleum, if you take warm water, like hot water, and you put that can down in there and you let everything in it heat up, take it out, shake it up some, put it back in there. We're talking over the course of like 20 minutes. Warm it up, keep shaking, warm it up, keep shaking, and then you spray. It lays down so much easier, like it glasses out, and the adhesion properties go way up. Pretty good info to have, because even if it's not in this, like there's plenty of times where you have to end up grabbing spray paint to, you know, fix something up, doctor something up. So knowing you can get extra adhesion out of it is a good thing for sure. Trying to think of where I should spray mine. I'll take it over here. What happened to this board?
Yeah, mine had a gouge on the other side.
You know, as soon as the guy that cut the boards was like, oh, I'll just grab the table saw, I was like, Sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know if he has table saw experience exactly, but okay. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to take that time. There's right hot. Thank you. There we go. Really efficient. Wish I had a little handle for it.
Nice. That's not noise.
So we are currently preparing a black sample board. We're going to use these for two different looks. I am going to, even though I said I was never going to share my Labradorite method, I've decided I'm not going to keep any secrets because I want everybody to get better, because that'll make me happy. And then I'll have more people to inspire me to try even harder. Whenever you have these artists and installers out there that won't teach the way that they do things, and even if they're paying, or like you pay for education from them, they'll show you a way, but it's not always the way they do it. I personally believe that is insecurity, and they feel like they're going to be outshined and that they have actually reached their plateau, and out of fear they withhold that information. I ain't ever plateauing. I'll plateau when I'm dead. Anytime I say some stuff like that, it makes me wonder if the people that are the ones I'm talking about, whenever they watch it, go, go. It's pretty crazy. Whenever I first started getting some recognition in the industry, there was lots of people that are like on that upper echelon, you know, and they would always like my stuff, comment, and all this, and it's like over the last few months, now they're still looking at all my stuff, but they don't interact with it. And I'm like, oh, you're scared. You're threatened. Let's see, we'll do that. That'll work. So every so often, you want to check that MRAP fast cure that we have down. Right at about the point that you can touch it and not have it like string up as you pull your finger away. Like that is, we're getting very close to the golden time. See how it's like taffy?
Yeah.
It's very close. If we didn't have these big returns right here just blasting us with AC, we could have already done our broadcast into it. Spray paint.
Are you moving something?
What's that?
Are you moving something?
There wasn't very much workspace up there, so I figured I would spray it right there.
Do you want to move that one?
That's not a bad idea. Luckily, the AC's blowing this way, so I figured it'd be good, but oh, there we go. Yeah, we can move that. It's pretty close.
You want to put it up here?
Yeah, we can just like set it up on the rail right there. Beautiful.
That's heavier than it looks.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, particle board's heavy, like really heavy. It's all the glue in it. Oh, I know that they can't see me, but they can hear me. Would you mind turning that camera this way? Sorry, YouTube.
You want me to turn on the exhaust fan? Is it too strong for you?
Yes, you know, I walked over there to do that, and then I didn't.
I don't know which
It is right here.
Oh, is it here? Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Come on. There we go. Good enough. We are like a few minutes away from being able to do that broadcast.
About 30 minutes.
That works out perfect. Yeah. Ooh.
That's a teal green.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
Are you singing the new shoe song?
What you think about that? That's before your time. That's before your time. Man.
Yeah. How old are you?
26.
Oh yeah, man.
Keep them goddamn eyeballs off.
I gotta hold on to that. That was the pink. Always the pink. I found one when I used on that one. I got from. I went on Amazon.
Where's Where's that swatch at?
So this is gonna be kind of something else.
So that safety red, and then that is Liquitex Fire Roll. Fire Relay.
Gotta write it down.
So fire red.
So you're putting that in the safety red to get that red?
Yep.
Okay.
So that safety red, it definitely has that like purplish undertone. Even this, like if you look at like where it's very thin on that glass there, you can train your eyes to see it. But there's absolutely a violet hue there because that's part of the base tone of this red, right? There's very few pigments out there that have a true red base. So this one and that one together will get you that red that you see right down the countertop.
And what he's doing is he's making a metallic, like in a metallic. So the metallic is already,
Pretty much,
and then
yeah.
that shit's wanting to react with the metallic itself. From how you've explained it, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So it's like
in this case, like both of
multiple
those
reactions.
are just liquid. You know, like that safety red's a liquid and this is a liquid. But if you throw a little bit of red mica in with it, oh yeah, you're just wild stuff. You know, it just naturally happens because there's so much fighting in there. You know? Yeah, red's one that I had to sit there and keep messing up on, figure out how to get it true like blood red.
Mm.
Well, hello again, YouTube. It's been a while.
No, we're just moving it so we can put our feet.
Oh, okay.
So currently we have taken our other sample boards that we're starting on. We have based them out with black. In most cases, I would prefer to actually just do a black coat of epoxy, but unfortunately, here in this building right now, our fast cure options are a little bit limited. So we just spray painted our MDF instead. But now we are going to be going back to our beaches and we will be doing a broadcast. We're taking quartz and we're putting it in this resin. smaller thing of gloves. Oh, there you are.
And you see this video?
What's up?
That's just literally the MRAP
MRAP?
and then spray paint.
Yeah,
that
it
was
was-
cool. You
yeah,
did
yeah.
that before?
I mean, actually, no, I've never put spray in MRAP.
Do you think that'll affect the cure?
It'll definitely, well, MRAP's not exactly like UV stable to begin with. Like, if you look at the catalyst, it's pretty amber to start. It's pre-yellowed, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's not for anything visual. It's like, it's truly functional. So like, it doesn't matter if it isn't UV and, you know, going to amber quickly. What do you have? Oh, very cool. Oh, that is some perfect sand. Wow. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. All right, so you'll be able to do.
stuff in it, but
No, I mean that works though. You know, as long as it's not like anything
this
that's
stuff
too
is
big.
almost like powder.
That's Myrtle Beach sand.
No.
Not Myrtle Beach.
No, this is Half Moon Cay,
You brought that
Virgin
from there?
Islands.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, he had it run down from his house.
That's awesome.
He's not playing around, man. Got the special materials on
So
speed
we
dial.
will use this the same way you would use this. So
Right.
what you see me do with this,
I'm
you can
kinda
do with that.
using this in one.
Oh, so you want to do it like a variance?
Yeah, I'll do
Very
one
cool.
this way,
Mhm.
and then kind of do this one and another, and
All right.
another row. So
Very
kind
cool.
of like blend in.
Yeah, I like it.
Do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, actually, like using this quartz with, I forget the name of the blend, but you can see in the camera, it's got white, gray, some like beige tones. It looks very natural, and doing this, especially with whenever you have like true beach sand or play sand and a little bit of this can appear as like crushed up shells. Like I'm sure everybody's been there, and you stand right there on that shoreline, and there's like those big old chunky, like they're working their way down into being grains, like as you're looking at them, you know?
And I left all the shells, small shells that I just got. I left them with my wife.
So this right here, when you can touch it and it's not immediately trying to grab on, that's when it's good to go.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
So because we are, you know, over here in our work area, try to be a little bit controlled with getting your quartz out into the resin. Please and thank you, because if you really look at this in your hand, you can see that like they're little tiny spheres. Like this is a man-made quartz. And the reason that they have that shape to them is because it's perfect. Whenever you lay it into your resin and you have the circular shape, only so much of it ends up embedded in the resin. And so usually as that curve follows down and the meets, you have essentially an undercut. So whenever you put a coating on top of this, and if it's bitten into that resin right there, the resin that you're putting on top is going to come under that undercut and grab on, and then you know it is there. Same goes for using it as a broadcast, like a beach coat for doing overlay. As you put it down, you will see certain areas start to kind of shine a little bit more. Just put a little bit more of that quartz there. You can kind of tamp it into place a little bit. Now this process on a board like this is a little bit different than doing it on a floor, obviously, but the same general concept is there. Yeah, and on a floor you would want to make sure to like pull it decently tight, and with this not being something that's going to have like any real use or pressure against it, I'd rather have that resin like pretty much kicked and gelled. It's still a little bit tacky, you know, like it has some stick to it, and we're working this into it. But instead of being able to tamp it into place on a floor, you would want to hit it in that resin just a little bit earlier. So you don't have to do that work of like pushing it in. Beach. While everyone gets their quartz in place and tamped in, I'd like to talk about, this is just one mix of quartz. There are many, many different color formulas for it. There's also just like straight solid colors, so like you can find black quartz or just blue or just red. Like a lot of that has to be special ordered, but it is available. Also clear quartz. And the cool thing about clear quartz is whenever it hits that resin and bites on, it becomes translucent and you can see what's underneath it. So you can actually make really beautiful things that have the same kind of durability that you'll find in a warehouse or a factory, and still have a beautiful aesthetic to them. All right.
Yeah, you rough the edges. So you put it rough on the edges.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna try to run it over the side? Very cool. I like that. That's a pretty good idea.
Been around the block.
He's
At the time, you know what I'm
26 years old. Good Lord, man. Good Lord.
saying? Hey, look, I'm the oldest of 5, so I came up.
Oh, all right,
so,
yeah.
You know, you gotta go up a little.
Those 26 years. No, that's more like you're like 40 and so far. I'm convinced that I would have not even begun to have grays and would still feel like I had just boundless energy if it wasn't for, I love you, babe. I love you, kid. My wife and son. Because, man, those people are stressful sometimes. Feeling responsible for the well-being of other human beings is for the birds.
I'm telling you. You know, on like kind of like a deeper topic too, like you know, I was reading something, you know, about the guys being like the race for like depression and sadness, because we have so much pressure like on the guy's shoulder and we can't complain or
Yeah, we're not supposed to
be sad,
complain. Yeah, we're supposed to be stoic.
So it's like,
And the sad truth of the matter is, like, most people do not give a damn about what anybody is feeling inside. People are usually very self-centered. And even whenever they do show kindness and compassion or care towards someone else, they're actually doing it because it makes them feel good, which is still a very selfish initiative, but it does benefit others, right? It's that balance of like, you got to find the ones you can, you know, see that vulnerable side. That includes like men too, like, you know, like a person that you consider a close enough friend where you can not posture, just share. Like,
exactly. I respect those people that like be themselves and trying to be too tough. You know what I mean? That's why I joke.
there's a time and a place for it. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to suck it up and do the thing. Like, that is legit. But yeah, no, it's good to be in touch with your emotions and process them and handle them in a healthy way, instead of bottling them up and like having a stroke when you're 40 because like you're just so internally pent up. You just spritz out one day, you know?
Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah, baby.
So pretty quickly, because once the super fast cure does its thing, it's pretty much there. We will be able to, yeah, see that consistency to it? At this point, we can go ahead and pull our tape. We don't want to really disturb that coat too much. Like, pulling tape It's just kind of pulling things away, but like you don't want to like rub on this yet. Oh, and to any of the viewers at home, you might be watching this thinking, yeah, that's cool and all, but I don't want to do art. I just want to know the technical side of this stuff. Well, guess what? This is where the technical and the artistical come together. Artistical.
I don't know if that's a word.
It is now. So once you get your quartz in place, you're going to wait just a little while. You know, like you can kind of feel if it's still like gummy under there. With that being the case, whenever you are removing the excess quartz, because there's nothing really keeping us from moving forward, there will be very little overlap of this resin onto this, right? So we can, let's see, we got to think of a way to get this off easily. We might just have to drag the trash can over and just do it into the trash can. We don't want to send this stuff flying everywhere because those little spheres on a smooth floor is a bad combination. It becomes like an ice rink. Here we go. We'll just take this on around, or people can take a one of the bigger buckets and dump into that. There you go.
With the hot dog way.
Man, look at the like stringy angel hair like coming off the bottom from where you picked it up.
Almost angel hair pasta now.
Yeah.
You messed it up, Kennedy.
What is it? What is my name?
Is it not, what was it?
Kennedy.
What in the world?
What is it? Charity?
He's not a stripper. What?
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Where is this?
Charity? A boy named Charity? Like, I've heard of a boy named Sue, but I've never heard of a boy named Charity. So my example over here is a little bit different than their sample boards because I wanted to do it on something big to kind of show a little more, give them ideas of, you know, what movements and what interaction with that epoxy is going to give what effects. Plus, whenever this one's done, I don't know, probably hang it up. One of the sections in here is going to be the gallery, and there'll be all kinds of wall art. So if you want to come into class and learn some really, really cool techniques, you never know. It could be something that you go, I'm really happy with this. This is great. And then it can just go in the gallery and it could actually be sold, and then you would get it. Like, you would get the cash. It's pretty crazy how much like fine art is out there and is now using like concrete or plaster and resin. Like, people are making these panels and these canvases that they sell for tens of thousands of dollars. And it's literally like the same stuff we're working with right now. How you doing over here? Man, look at that. Look at how beautiful that sand's like so fine.
I'm jelly.
And something else you can do, and I see people do it every so often, is you're able to do another broadcast coat right on top of this. What you would do is wait for this to reach like full cure pretty much, and then scrape the excess, whatever's loose, And then you would just repeat the same steps. You would take your resin, lay it down, broadcast into it, let it set up, and then also follow through with scraping. And what that does is it starts to give a topographical look. Like you get to start adding depth to even the beach. You know, it'd be fun. Since it involves a couple of layers, like on the water part, you could actually put like sea life in it. You could like paint or like get little decals and lay it in. So you could have like a school of fish or like a shark.
I've seen people paint the sharks in there.
Dude, some people when they layer resin, like, and usually 3 layers is like where it starts to look good, and if you can go like 4 or 5, it's nuts. It's like they'll pour like a koi pond look, and they paint the layers of the fish as it comes up. And so like as you do this and look down in that resin, you just see a 3D fish. It's really cool.
It's crazy.
Takes a while. There's a girl on YouTube, I forget what the channel name is. She did like, I think it was 120 layers of like a phoenix.
I think it's so hot seeing girls doing epoxy.
I agree. My wife has to come and help me on jobs sometimes, and I always just sit there like, yeah. I told her that I was gonna make her own account and call it Resin MILF. I was like, I'll do all the work. You just have to like look really pretty and act like you're doing it. Although, I mean, man, it wouldn't surprise me one bit, like, because my wife is brilliant with like her industry. She works with hair, you know,
Yeah,
and so
she's using color theory too.
tons of color
So
theory.
y'all fucking probably like
Tons.
ping-pong
Oh, yeah.
ideas off it. That's dope, bro.
Yeah, she's definitely a good fit for me because she can put up with my eccentric self. And even though she used to be like, you can't just live however the hell you want, and like you have to care what people think and say, and I'm like, no, I don't. And now she gets it, and the way she approaches like even her business and stuff now is like so much different. But it's working in her benefit. I mean, she's in high demand, you know. She's like a specialist. People wait 4 months or more. People will travel from out of state. That's really nice. Now, you know, might not be able to see too well in the camera, and unfortunately, our operator is not here today, so I actually don't even know if we're looking in here or there. Either way, if you're in the above camera, you'll be able to see there is a little bit of shine in some of these places around the quartz, and that is the resin itself showing through. Luckily, that resin is tinted with the almond colored dye. So even though it is shiny and is showing through, it just looks cohesive. It works with the color of the quartz. And if you throw it in earlier, before it hits the point it was at when we threw it in, you get a little bit less of this. Whenever you are scraping quartz, this is not trash, right? Small amounts like this is kind of no big deal, but like when you're doing a large area, the next step is scraping the area, right? Like big metal scraper, lots of pressure, and just walk, and it's super loud, and you can hear it ringing in your ears for hours after, just like just this noise, and you can reclaim that quartz. You can get it all together, and you know, if need be, you can even like sift it, so like you're getting out any large chunks of debris that might have made their way in. But like,
You know what's interesting? So I know they say that you can only use flake, like you can only reclaim it like once, because then it turns into like 1/8. But if it's quartz, you can just it's like
oh dude, there's
infinite reclaim.
I have some buckets of quartz that have been thrown on multiple jobs. Like, yeah, it goes a long way if you take the time to pull it back. And I mean, not for nothing, like you can get some, you know, pretty affordable quartz, but I mean, a lot of it's actually surprisingly expensive for a bag of sand. Like, yeah, it's man-made sand and it's a certain color, so like I get it, but like if you're just throwing it down to cover it up, like,
Yeah.
you can have all these different colors and like all these different consistencies. Like, we're essentially just making sandpaper at this point. It's literally like we're putting resin, dropping an aggregate, and then adhering it there. And you like have sandpaper at that point that you can put stuff on and it bites to. So it really doesn't matter like what color it is, you know, as long as it's doing the job. This is awkward. This is like just big enough to where I can't get my fingers on the side.
Let me pry it up, please.
Got it. Oh, we were laminated on. That's what's going on. I'm going to, yeah, probably not a bad idea. Oh, there we go. Nice. All right, I'm gonna leave that right there for a moment. I wanna make sure I don't have too much in my workspace. You know, a lot of people that participate in this industry, they definitely lean into the more just straightforward, like maintenance work, you know, or just simple, clean, quick, get it done, and might not see a point in like understanding all these different like art principles that we can use until we talk about stuff like that flake, where like people are starting to throw that metallic in their resin before they flake into it. You know, if you understand, again, contrast and, you know, complementary colors, like you know which one to pick, you know, and like little stuff that feels like custom to each customer's project is seen as like a more like upscale, like luxury kind of thing. So like if you can fine tune it to the point where it's like, oh, you want to do a chord system or a flake system, you know, but the border going around, like we could do that in a different color. Like we can have like dividing lines and like garages and like sports courts, you see it, you know, people that like literally do the lines in like quartz in some cases, or I've seen quartz done in flake. And so it's like, take advantage of the fact that, yeah, you're putting something down and you're throwing it in, cool. But you can break it down into sections and like really fine tune something for the right customer. Like a lot of customers are just gonna be like, eh, but a lot of customers, you tell them like, oh, we can customize this to you. And they go, oh shit, like, okay, you know, start throwing in, say your finish overall is, you know, satin, right? But then the border that's in a different color, you can run it in like high gloss. Those little contrasts, those little pops. A lot of the times those different little contrasts and pops can actually be functional as well. So like depending on what the space is going to be used for, you know, you can pick which material is going to work best in that environment, but then you can pick the sheen as well. Like some of them already come with a certain sheen, some of them you can put things in to like get it to a certain sheen. There's just so many combinations where like even like a garage, you know, like a garage where some guy, like he might have one nice car, but the rest of it's like a work bay, right? Like you could have the spot where like the nice car is, like there's nothing stopping you from like putting a border around that spot. Say it's like a Lamborghini or something, right? Like, or he found an old one and like, you know, restored it or whatever it may be, an old Camaro, an old Firebird, whatever. You could like throw the logo down where the car goes. And then there's a bunch of different ways to do that logo. Like you could actually do it in quartz. Like you could break it down into like the different, you know, shapes and colors and individually pour like sand art, have it as quartz, like right in the middle. That'd be sick.
Have you done any of those logo drops?
Which ones?
Like this, where they want the logos down?
Nothing huge yet. Like I've done it with, like I made a Mario Galaxy floor for my kid's gaming bed.
So like we got the remastered ones for Switch, and he played 64, Sunshine, and then Galaxy, and he like really loved Galaxy. He went real deep on that game. So when I built him his loft bed, it was all Mario themed, and then there's a little gaming setup underneath. I like made a panel that I was able to pour down in my shop and then bring up, and it sits down in place like a glove. It just locks in. It looks like it's the floor, and it's a Galaxy pour, and then Mario and I forget the star guy's name, and then just glass it out on top. Like,
so you didn't use like a sticker?
No, it was a sticker, yeah.
So
it was like a straight vinyl, but as long as it doesn't have the UV protective coating on it, you get a decent bite with resin. And if you're worried about a bite with resin, then you can get stuff custom printed on it. It's perforated. Like, you know, sometimes you walk up to windows and you're outside looking in, and it's like you see an image, but then you're inside looking out, and it's like it's a little hazy, but you can see through it. That's because it's perforated.
So you did your design, just put the special sticker down and just cleared over it? You didn't like prep the sticker in any type of way?
No, I made sure that like my buddy was the one that was printing it. He works at a screen printing company that also has like all these different types of printers to print on stuff. And one of the things they do is like vinyl decals. So I made sure.
Sticker type thing.
Yeah, it's like it's vinyl.
Okay, because that was gonna be my next question, right? It's like, because I would think the epoxy would want to like discolor or like start pulling from the inks or something. So it is laminated.
It can. It definitely can. Like, as long as you're not like pushing a tool over it a whole bunch and like really touching the surface and like moving it, it's good. Like, you can put it on and like the ink is stable enough to stay. Like, it doesn't just start to run. But I figured out really quickly with, you know, if it doesn't have that protective UV coating on it that most vinyls have for outside use, then if you're like taking a roller and you go over and actually rub the image, it'll streak, yeah. But if you just pour and just barely tool that epoxy over it, then just let it glass out, it's good. Now, you get into larger areas, like this is my kid's gaming bed, so it's like whatever, right? But if like I was in a like restaurant or club or something like that, and they wanted a logo, and they wanted to go with like vinyl, I would like insist that it be perforated. So you actually have that space in between that like the resin is going through the hole, biting to the resin underneath. So like, yeah, the bond is technically interrupted across the space, but you have so much of it going through and biting on and holding that. Yeah, you can also, I mean, there's nothing stopping people from doing a quartz broadcast. You could go with black quartz, black resin, black quartz, you know, throw it out, scrape it, and then you literally just have a canvas, a black canvas that you can paint on. Like, you could paint a portrait if you wanted to. Like, you could make it look like whatever and then encapsulate it. You just pour another layer over it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm writing that one down too.
Get weird with it. Every so often, social media algorithms kind of pick up on certain stuff and really push it. And one of them that over the last few years pops up every so often is sand art. I see lots of people, like, you know, lots of views and likes and interaction on people that are essentially making images with sand, because they have a canvas that's just an adhesive surface and then like a masking piece of plastic, and it's super thin. So you can cut a shape, remove the masking, have pure adhesive, and you can break it down color by color, section by section. You can just pour this different colored sand on it and then have something that looks like if you took a real picture and like put it through like a pop art filter, you know? Like, it's the level of detail you can get, it's nuts. There's nothing stopping people from doing that on the floor too. Like, and that's the kind of stuff where, like, yeah, it's definitely not gonna be every job, that's for sure. It's not even gonna be 50% of the jobs. There's gonna be one or two every so often, right? But like, the amount of money that you get to put on that kind of service, it's huge. Like, it's going to be something that as more of that kind of stuff gets laid down, it's going to get shared. People are going to see it,
And then there's going to be other people out there that are like, I want some crazy custom art in my floor. Thank you, sir. It's like sometimes people will try to try to make me feel like small, because it's like, how many floors do you do a year? And it's like, not many, you know, 3, 4 maybe. It's like, mine are 4 times as expensive. So, so yeah, I'm not really feeling small here. Let's see. All right. At this point, we are good to start laying our blues. You want to make sure, usually if you're not rushing in between steps, you would scrape this, vacuum it, sweep it, just make sure anything that's kind of loose is off. This is actually the perfect point.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so then I'm gonna stop recording.
It's lunchtime.